Hello, hello, and welcome back to Wheel of Games, where today we're going to be taking on Frosthaven again. Hopefully, we're going to have a little bit better of a time than last time. I've decided to go full Tabletop Simulator, at least for the time being. Let's go explore what this whole view looks like. So, I've moved everything that I had constructed last time in here. So, for example, I've also got a bunch of shortcuts. I'm going to have to see if leaving in those transitions works or if it, looks okay to the eyes. So we can see that we've got all of the equipment that we had purchased is now set up for them, attack modifiers. All this stuff's going to be in here. There's summons and stuff, and so on for each of our three characters. All of that is set up. I also added all of the resources that they gained last time, as well as their experience bonuses. There's a end of scenario if you win bonus for XP for level 1. I think that's just 6. Another thing is that I realized this halfway through, but I didn't do battle goals in the first scenario. It's something that just pretty much completely slipped my mind with all the different cards that I had pulled out. And I'm just saying, that's fine. I forgot that last time, but it's going to do it for me this time, I hope. So the way this whole thing works is the map's going to show up in here. All of the interface things that we need will show up in here, like the initiative trackers. There's buttons to draw cards for each of the different players. And we can even track and see all their life points and stuff in here. Now I also have the Frosthaven interface hooked up in here as well. I see the loot still set to the last scenario, but that'll all be updated as soon as we select the new scenario to play. So I've got that hooked up. I'm not sure if this map is going to make everything from the Frosthaven assistant unnecessary, but at least for the time being, I'm going to assume I'm going to need it. So I've still got that window up, and we'll toggle to it at the beginning of each round and see how things are working. So last time, we completed the tutorial mission, Howling in the Snow. I think we did okay. At the very least, we won. And you can see Mission 0, Howling in the Snow, is now got a little X on it because we've completed it. Let's see, I don't see a Mission 1 on this map, but we know that it was called A Town in Flames. So we definitely need to get to that town and go help out as quickly as we can. So everything that we need to do to set up the town isn't going to happen until after we finish Scenario 1. So realistically, I think we can just go straight to it. There aren't any road events or outpost events. We can just load in Scenario 1. And let's see, that's up here. So Scenario 1, load the scenario. Okay. Now we zoom out. 3 players detected. Loading map. Yep. And yep, we've got a door, so we have no idea what's back here, whether it's one map or 2. But what do we have up on the map already? We've got Algox, a guard, a priest, an archer, a guard. Okay, so it's not giving me their life points right now. Oops, I meant to rotate you. Nope, not seeing anything on the back there. Now if we focus in on the app... Oh, I know why. Hang on, I'm going to unload the map. I forgot to start the server in the Frosthaven assistant, so it didn't connect to it. Down here, my fault. I'm going to tell it to load this in again, and I'll be right back. Okay, I think I've got it this time. I started the server, but I forgot to actually recheck the integration in here. This time it should work. So come on, there we go. Yep, it's adding all that stuff into the app for me. Now this looks a lot better. So we can see over here we've got the archers. And are any of these elite? The only one who's elite is the priest. There we go. Now everything's looking a whole lot better. So 7 health, 7 health. Looks like they've got some shield. Oof, and the city guard has shield and retaliate. But usually the city guard would be an ally for us. So we're going to have to look into the actual... We'll read the scenario book and we'll figure out what's going on. you can see all the stuff is showing up in here, and then if we zoom in on the Frosthaven Assistant, we can see most of that same information in a more compact form. So if you didn't want to scroll over to here, or honestly, you can just adjust their hit points inside, and that's going to also reflect it. So if I, yeah, oh, it's behind the map. So I'm changing the hit points there, and you can see that under the Algox Priest, it's also updating it in sync in the connected app, which is very, very cool. I'm just gonna get into this one. And that means it's time for the scenario book. So one useful thing that the mod does for you is all of the pages for the scenario book are scanned in high resolution in here, but I do have my full proper scenario book in front of me as well. I suppose if I have it over this thing, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to follow along, aside from those little bar things on the sides. So let's go. A town in flames. Scenario goals. The scenario is complete when all enemies in it are dead. At the end of that round, read section 9.1. The sounds greet you first. Muffled metallic pangs, a voice howling. It's difficult to make anything out with the wind rushing past your ears, but you know that tune anywhere. There's a fight ahead. But a fight means people, and if there are people, then the town must be close. You hear more. A scream, the crash of steel against stone. A deep, earthy growl. Come on, there we go. I'm not just making it up. You're running now. Your legs are wasted from the hike. Your shoulders ache from your gear, but the sounds are close now. And up ahead you see gauzy orange light. No, kitty! Ah! I stepped on the keyboard. Okay, come on, bud. With one last push, you round the final bend in the trail and you see it. Frosthaven, engulfed in flame. Great petals of fire burst from windows and crawl over roofs. People stream from the town's ruined gate, their faces bent in panic. A moment later, you see the object of their terror. A massive creature with 2 legs and 2 hulking arms covered entirely in thick white fur. 3 gnarled horns crowning its head. Algox raiders, we're doomed! We're doomed, cries an elderly porter beside you. They're stronger than anything else alive! We've come all this way for nothing! As if to prove the point, the Algox you've been watching catches a fleeing outposter with one hand and hurls him backward as if he weighs nothing. 10 days you've been hiking. 10 days, and this is what you find. You breathe out a thick plume of foggy air and hoist your weapon high. Time to get to work. Special rules. All city guards are allies to you and enemies to all other monster types. City guards do not perform turns, but instead get an extra shield, so like automatically blocking damage, for a total of 2 shields at level 1, and retaliate 2 and have an initiative of 50 for the purpose of focusing. Okay, so the city guards aren't so much, they're not combatants, they're more like spiky porcupines that are going to stand there and absorb damage for us. So some of our heals would work from that. Also our banner shields, like combination attacks, could make use of that. When we open the door, we read section 5.3. Let's see. Yeah, the section book is not important yet. That's still left over from when we were on Howling in the Snow. And the scenario key. These are all the components that exist inside of this scenario. So we've got, the 3 types of Algox, the city guards, so we're not going to see any new monsters. Snow doors. So that tile is a snow. It was difficult when setting it up manually to figure out which things were the snow corridors, which ones were the snow doors. But thankfully, they have the outlines of like blue or gray, and like the log and rubble. Difficult terrain is now going to be highlighted in purple, and all of the obstacle type things are in green. And thankfully, the map's done this for us. But the loot table, I don't think I showed how this thing gets set up last time, but essentially for each one of these resources, it has like a deck of cards that match it. So for example, there's at least 8 different cards that match coins. So you would shuffle up that deck and deal out face down 6 cards from it. So you don't know if the coins are going to be like 3 coins or 1 coins from within that coin deck. Likewise, we discovered that there's both like lumber times 1 and lumber times 2 in the last scenario. So out of however many cards of each type there are, you deal out this many, and then you shuffle all of those together to make the combined deck. So like multiple layers of shuffling is one of the reasons why I like to let the apps handle this for me. And that's at least one thing that I can use from within the Frosthaven Assistant. I know there's a loot draw in there. There might be one inside of the Gloomhaven Tabletop Simulator, but I don't know where that button is yet. That's what our map is. So our starting tiles are going to be these four. So now we know we've got an Algox guard, who is, let's see, number 3. I suppose they're all different types, so we're not going to have to worry about that. So we've got 3 enemies and 1 ally. We've got a log pushed over in front of this guy, and some rubble debris. So he's going to be attracted to him. The obstacle's creating sort of a choke point through that area. And yeah, the archer is going to have some kind of range attack, just definitely. Let's take a look at what their stats are. And I suppose I meant this button. There we go. That shows off their stats pretty well, I think. Okay, so the archer has an attack of 3. It doesn't have range on here, so that implies that some of the ability cards are going to have, like, it's going to say make an attack with range, because this is going to be the archer monster ability deck that would be shared between, like, city archers, Algox archers. Because they don't have innate range, there have to be ranged attack cards in here, because I can't imagine an archer without range. But those Algox, oof. Yep, even this regular one's going to be an attack of 3, movement of 2, so not particularly fast, 5 health. Not too much for us. Yeah, the guard is a bit beefier. The guard, I don't think, has any special status things, just an attack of 3, but he moves a bit faster and has more hit points. The city guard is going to be retaliating, and the priests are typically spellcasters. Some of their ability cards, I imagine, are going to heal their allies, but they might also do some status inflicting or maybe some ranged attacks. And this one is elite, so he's got shield 2 and pierce 2. On his card there. So he's going to be a bit tough to get rid of. He's also got a lot of hit points, so he's our biggest threat on this first tile. Let's see, the next step is to pick our cards and then deploy to the board. I've already sort of selected the cards. You can select as many cards as are on that little number, so like Bone Shaper 12. You get 3 extra X cards, so you have to pick which ones you're keeping and which ones you're not, but we'll sort of look at them the first time we play a card in a scenario. I'll go faster and faster as we go through more games. It is time to... Oh, right. It did not deal me battle goals. Okay, let me look up how the battle goals work, just to make sure, and I'll be right back. Okay, got the battle goals section. At the start of every scenario, each character receives 3 battle goal cards in secret and chooses 1 to keep, discarding the others face down. Characters should keep their battle goal secret from another until the scenario is over. It doesn't say that you don't do this if you're playing solo. Typically, you're not going to know if you're not playing solo what the other people's battle goals are, and you're not allowed to tell the other characters what it is. And something that's different in Frosthaven is you get dealt 3. In Gloomhaven, you only get dealt 2. So you get your choice of the best match among 3 battle goal cards. So I'm going to draw 3, and we're just going to make a choice. 1 by 1 here. Okay, good. They are appearing on the screen. Okay, so the first one, Closer. Kill the last enemy to die in the scenario. Bully. Kill an enemy that has 2 or more negative conditions. Or Rambler. And no more than 3 of your turns in the hex in which you started the turn, except when long resting. So always be moving, basically. And on the bottom of that card, you'll see that it has a check mark. This is one of those things that leads towards character progression. Every time you complete a battle goal in a scenario, you get to check off 1 mark on your character sheet. When you get 3 check marks, then you get a free perk. Normally you get perks on like level ups, but if you accomplish these sort of bonus goals, then that allows you to get extra perks, which improve your character over time. So that's why battle goals are useful, but they're not essential. Our banner spear first. What do we want to do? We don't really have a lot of negative condition inflicting, but that's also something we would have the most control over. We have some poison, we've got some immobilize. So we could probably inflict both of those, especially when we're dealing with like the priest. That's someone where we definitely want to hit them with poison, or perhaps I guess curse doesn't really stick around as a status, but we could go for that one. We can try to bully someone. Closer is a bit harder to predict, so we are going to be a bully. And the other two are not going to be used. Now for Bone Shaper, we've got, some of them have multiple check marks. So this one presumably is harder to achieve. So Wallflower, and each of your turns adjacent to a wall, obstacle, or objective. Now, at least in this first area, that's pretty easy. It's very narrow. But if you look out here, that would mean you'd have to stick to the walls, and that would kind of suck. But 2 check marks, maybe that's worth it. Especially if you're sending your skeletons out and you're just sort of staying around the outside, out of the way. Maybe maybe that makes sense. The other ones we've got. There we go. Don't know why I had to go back here. Okay, Mugger. Kill an enemy and loot the loot token it drops in the same round. Typically this means you have to kill them before you move and then move into their space so you can auto-loot the token. This one's actually bad for our Bone Shaper because they're going to be summoning the skeletons or other things to do the attacking, and you may not be close enough to do the looting. Prohibitionist. Never use a potion. Well, we don't even have potions yet, so that's just a free checkmark. Right, you only get credit if you win. If you lose the scenario, but completed the goal, you don't get credit for it. But assuming we completed the scenario, this would be just one free checkmark for us right now. I love potions, though, so we would probably not take this later. I think this gives us an extra thing to sort of keep on our mind. And, double checkmarks? Great. So we have to remember to... I can even put, text on here. Stick to the walls. Okay. That'll hopefully remind me. And then we don't have those two. And now we get to draw one for our Shadow. Nope, Deathwalker. Yeah, it's not the best scan for every material, but most of these cards are great, but for some reason that one didn't come out perfect. Okay, Acrobat. Lose a card to negate suffering 5 or more damage. You have very little control over this. I wouldn't choose this unless the others were worse. Overachiever. Kill an enemy and open a door in the same turn, in either order. That's something you have some control over, but that's going to be kind of tough. Like, kill the priest and get through the door, because you have to be the one who gets that kill. It's not simply, anyone kills the enemy. That's really tough. Or, never kill an elite enemy, named enemy, or boss. Well, there aren't that many elite characters right now. It's got the most we have control over. So, that's what that's going to be. Now, the rest of these, I'm just going to shuffle back in. And, oh, I see. Shuffle. There's a button for it. Yep, I don't even know what these things do yet. That's just nifty. Maybe they're side contracts or something, but I have no information yet for that. Which I also find exciting. Okay, now we've got our battle goals. I knew there was something in there, and I don't know why. Normally, like in the Gloomhaven mod, it always shuffled and dealt it out, but I am also playing in local mode. Yep, with the settings in here. Yep, solo play mode. So it's time to pick our cards. Oh, no, we need to deploy ourselves to the field. So now we've got really cool standees. And all of these people have potential summons and stuff. Yep, you do have the choice of either using... There's also a standee in the physical game. You can use that, either that or your little figurine. But these are just really nice, awesome, detailed miniatures. There we go. Oh, hey, that shows off better what they look like than my unpainted things. So let's deploy ourselves to the battlefield. Definitely banner spear out front. We want to deploy skeletons right away, but we don't want to be attacked. Oops. Are you too big? I'll bet it's that staff. I can also shrink things if they look a little bit too big. There. Now they shouldn't be colliding with each other. I'll bet it's the staff that was perhaps hitting the spear hitbox-wise. They both have large items in their hand. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to select my cards and we'll be right back with round one. Here we go. First round. Ta-da! So this is what everyone's doing. Looks like we wrapped down into a second column there. Okay, so the first one up is going to be that Algox archer, and they're going to set a trap. So the first thing they do is they move towards the closest hex from which they can make an attack. Now, if they move to here, they wouldn't actually be able to see any of us. So they would choose to go to here because then they've got line of sight on us. So here's the archer. They move by one. Oop. Sorry, switch back over here. We've got the archer, so they move by one over onto that loot spot. So now from here they've got line of sight. Doesn't want to draw my line anymore. Weird. Okay. So yeah. So from that spot, they can see, actually they have line of sight to all three, which means they are looking for somebody who's within range 5. Pretty sure that's a 5. Yep, not a 3, that's a 5. So an attack of 2 against someone at range 5. So we're looking at either the Bone Shaper or the Banner Spear. And who has the higher initiative? This time that's actually the Bone Shaper. So it's an attack of 2 against our Bone Shaper. Let's see, let's try using the ones inside a tabletop sim. So down here we've got allies, monsters. So draw 1, plus 0. So that's going to be 2 damage to our Bone Shaper. Yep, you can see that. All stayed in sync over to here. Cool, and yep, it's even in there. Okay, so we took 2 damage, that sucks, but the archer is not done yet. Create one 3 damage trap in an adjacent empty hex closest to an enemy. So when we look back over to here, we've got to, well, we're putting a trap into that space. I found the overlay supply, and now we've got bear traps. So that is a 3 damage trap that our archer friend just laid down. And to confirm if he's done, yep, that's the last thing in him. So now the archers are done, and it is Ison's turn. Our Bone Shaper, who got a little bit hurt there. So what are they doing? Well, we're going to be summoning a skeleton and also moving. And we're actually going to be moving first in order to set up our Banner Spear for a nice strong attack. What we want to do with our Banner Spear is be on opposite sides of it so that we can do a pincer movement on it. If he ends up moving, maybe we can do the combined effort run. But still, we want to get on opposite sides of this guy. So what I'm planning to do is move 2 out to here, and then summon our skeleton next to him. That way our Banner Spear can just get to either side. Either of those 2 spaces will work for the pincer attack. So we've moved to there. We don't have any summons that we can grant the 2 movement, so that card is now done. And then over onto this side, we are summoning a Shambling Skeleton. This is going to be a continuous card, but it also gives us 1 XP. And we suffer 2 damage. I forgot about that for a moment. I was hoping we were going to go before all the enemies. Okay, so this goes into our active area. We flagged that so that it will stay active. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to move down to there at the end. So now we need to grab one of our skeletons. So skeleton number 1. Summon. Hey, now he's here. And he's even shown up in the activation order on the app. Oh, I got to switch back over again. But he showed up right before Ison, which is a nice helpful reminder. But now we've deployed a Shambling Skeleton into the map. So now we're flanking this guard, although it looks like the guard's going to get to go before our Banner Spear. But now our Bone Shaper is done. The skeleton will get to start moving next turn. So next up is going to be Zane. Now for Zane, we've got another combination of things we're going to try. So we can place a shadow in 1 hex within range 2, and then we can move 3 to wherever we place that shadow and make an attack of 3. So here's our shadow supply. Now we have to put this into a space within 2. Let's see, I need to remind myself, what's our Banner Spear's movement here? It's going to be 2. Okay, so we don't have to go into the near spot. Let's put it here. Okay, so that's the bottom of one of the cards. Then we can move up to 3 so long as we end on a shadow. And now we can make an attack of 3 against this guard. So let's see, this is player 3. Draw an attack modifier. Ooh, a +2. Wow, so 5 plus 2 damage. Oh neat, it showed up and then it went into their discard. Cool. Okay, so we've done 5 damage straight out on this character. Nice. Yeah, even if we had the crit, it wouldn't have been enough to kill this guy straight out. So now let's look at the priority order. Yep, Zane is now done. So it's the priest's turn. Tend to the clan. And it looks like that's a 3. I don't know why it appears to be yellow. Let's look over here. Is it actually yellow? Oh, okay, it's yellow because if there was a non-elite, they would move 2, and elites would move 3 on this one. He can move up to 3, and he wants to do a heal at a 3 at range 3. So he wants to target that card. Let me double check the monster targeting rules just to make sure they don't do dumb stuff. So I'll be right back. Check the targeting rules for heals. Okie dokie. So I'm going to read just the most relevant parts out of the monster assignment here. So for monster movement, because he's moving before he does his heal, you find your focus, which is basically the space that you can attack using your attack ability, using the fewest movement points. Now, he does not have an innate ranged attack, so he would want to do a melee attack, and this does take into account difficult terrain, so it would be basically distance 2 to get to there and distance 1 to get to there. So the first thing you do is find the focus. It notably says, having abilities other than attack listed on its ability card does not affect a monster's movement in any way. It will simply move according to the above rules, or like as though it was doing an attack, and then perform its other abilities as fully as possible. So what that means is the monster's going to find its focus as though it was performing an attack, and if it doesn't say range, then it tries to target for a melee attack, and that means he's moving as though he's going to attack the guard. Then it does its other abilities, like the heal that it has, as fully as possible. Now in this case, because it is a range 3 heal, he is still able to target his friendly Algox guard regardless, because he's got line of sight around that corner, and he's within range 3. So that's an interesting AI tidbit from how I'm reading the pathing rules for the monster. So it's very important they aren't smart enough to prioritize the heal. They're essentially prioritizing attacks and then heal if they can. Yeah, and for heals, it targets the monster within range with the greatest difference between current and maximum. So yeah, its focus is the guard, it moved towards the guard. And it's performed his heal, so now his turn is complete. Up next is going to be the Algox guard, doing a hasty assault, move 4, and then attack 2. Okay, so we come back over to the map, and move 4, attack 2. So he has 3 people who are already completely adjacent to it. Based on priority order, it's actually the skeleton, because the skeleton moves before, like the summons move before the thing that summoned them. So actually the skeleton has higher initiative, even though he didn't exist at that time this round. The skeleton actually is the highest priority target here. So our Algox friend is making an attack of 2 against our skeleton. Let's draw a monster card. -1, hey, good for us. Okay, that reduces the attack down to 2. Our skeleton has taken a damage, but is otherwise still on the board. So the guard is done. Now it is time for our Banner Spear's turn. All right. Oh, it even highlights that the city guard is not doing anything. Cool. I like that. It's well designed. Everything lines up. Okay, so our Banner Spear, their cards. So we've got a move 2, and then grant 2 allies within range 2 an extra move of 2, and then we can do our pincer movement. So we want to move to either of those 2 spaces. Maybe we can like curl our Banner Spear around the side. That stupid trap's kind of in the way. It I don't think it'll kill our skeleton, because the skeleton will treat that as a negative hex and try to avoid it if possible. But yeah, just we sort of gave ourselves a little choke point here. But I'm going to move as far as I can. Just try to get in there. So I move 2. Before I can do the attack, I need to fully resolve that card. So 2 allies within 2 get a move of 2. And I can use this to let the skeleton get onto that log. It's difficult terrain, so both movement points to get onto it. And that way, on its next turn, the skeleton will be able to reach and attack that archer. Because it's difficult terrain, I couldn't move either of our other allies onto the log. But I'm doing the most if I move our Deathwalker forward again. So moved them forward by 2. They can go through the allies. You can't move through enemies unless they're invisible. Okay, so we fully resolved our move. Now it's time for that pincer attack. Gotta find the view that takes me directly to this. Or maybe I'll just save a camera for this. There we go. Camera number 6 now takes us straight to here so we can look at these quickly. Okay, we've done that. Now it's an attack of 5, and it's going to muddle our enemy. First time we've seen that status effect. It's basically disadvantage until the end of that character, whether it's monster or player, until the end of their next turn, all of their attacks will be made at disadvantage. We are on both sides of this monster, and that means we can, double check. It would have been dumb if I accidentally moved the Bone Shaper and eliminated my ability to attack. Okay, now we can make that attack. This is player 1. +2, ooh. Man, that's enough damage to kill it outright, even if it hadn't taken any damage yet. So we don't need to worry about that muddle. It is simply... Oh, neat! It auto-turned it into loot for us as well. Ah, so nice. This is even an improvement over the last Gloomhaven mod, because in that case, when it got down to 0 health, you had to click a little button on the health bar to replace it with the loot. Or in that case, it was always coins, but hey, it's all there now, so now we have... I crave loot. I crave loot. Okay, so good job, Banner Spear. We've dropped something. What else do we need to do for this turn? We have fully acted. Yes, back to the initiative. Is there anyone left? Well, we have the city guard, but he's not actually going to move at all. Okay. So good to know. He is simply guarding the door into, I guess, the town. I'm really curious what's going to be there. And I guess we know it's going to be rubble-tastic, full of debris and rubble, just based off of the map cues. But I believe we are done with our first round. All right. Here we go. So, end round. Hit that button. Everything goes back. And hey, the guard is now off the table. Okay, now that we're in our new positions, I need to pick new cards, so we'll be right back in just a minute. Start the next round. What we got? Oh, this time the priest's going first, but we beat the other 3. Okay. Well, I suppose we don't need to beat the guard. So first up is going to be that priest who has a move of 3, then a melee attack of 2 that pierces 2 at, let's see, range 3 that also disables. So he's going to disable someone. Although, at the very least, he is seemingly targeting the city guard, who is the closest person. We don't care if they disable the city guard. That's just because they're never attacking. So, yeah, the disarm condition means that you can't use an attack action, and that condition goes away at the end of your turn. So, the Algox priest, their focus is on the city guard. That's the closest person. Now, they are smart enough that because they would be at disadvantage, because it would be a ranged attack from adjacent, they do move away to get rid of that disadvantage. But the focus still remains on the city guard. So this is going to be an attack of 2, and it's going to bypass the shield of 2, because Pierce just cancels out shield, so his extra benefit is gone. And that retaliate, unless it has a range specified, it's always adjacent. So this priest has moved out of the range and negated all of his special bonuses. And now it's going to be an attack of 2. Attack of 2, Pierce 2. Let's see, there's 2 different decks here. I believe the one on the bottom is the monster deck. or +0 means that the 2 just goes straight through, and our friendly guard has taken 2 damage. But, I mean, we can heal them up later. Hopefully they'll follow us into the next map as we go. And that's going to do it for the priest. So next up is going to be our Banner Spear, and then Shadow Walker and Bone Shaper. So the Banner Spear. What are they doing? Hey, this time the camera jump worked. Okay, so we want to use the Javelin, attack of 3 at range 3, and then we're going to use the other side just as a basic move to get ourselves into the right position. Because the Banner Spear is going to go for the loot, it doesn't have a pierce on this attack, so it's not likely to get through that shield, unfortunately. So we're going to aim it over at the archer. So this is going to be an attack of 3 by our Banner Spear at the archer. Let's check and see if there's any other statuses. Oh, we're going to infuse wind. Ta-da! And it even showed up in the assistant too. Excellent. Okay, so basic move, attack 3 at range 3. So here we go. +0, so straight 3 damage. There's no shields. And there we go. That's it for our Banner Spear's turn. Next up is the Shadow Walker. So this one, we're going to move the shadow up to 5 hexes, and then perform an attack of 5 as though we were in that hex, and then remove the shadow. This time we've got a pretty strong attack. We're going to lose the shadow either way, so do we go after the priest? I'm almost certain that this is going to kill the archer. The only card that would miss would literally be the miss card. I'm very much of the mind that you want to deny the other, like your enemy's activations, because the archer hasn't gone yet, but the priest already has. If I kill the archer, then that archer isn't going to get to do his nasty attack of 4 at range 3 later on. So yeah, I think the best thing to do is move our shadow up over to that archer. It's going to be an attack of 5. Let's down there. Yep, attack of 5, and then remove. And we're also going to enhance the darkness. Okay, player 3. Ah! What did I say? There's 1 card. It's a deck of 20 cards. There's 1 miss. We got the miss. So our shadow was wasted there. Okay, what's coming next? So that was the full turn for our Deathwalker. Now we've got the Bone Shaper, and the skeleton goes first. Now the skeleton, because the priest moved up, is definitely focused on the priest. I guess the only real downside here is that he's got the shield of 2, and our skeleton has an attack of 2, and we can double check that by going down to the Bone Shaper's stat. All of these different fields are for these continuing cards, with that little infinity symbol down there. So we can check, yep, it's an attack of 2. So, and the reminder, stick to the walls. Okay, so our skeleton is going to take an attack of 2 at the priest. We need bonuses for this to do any good. Nope. All of his shields just completely deflected our skeleton's attack. So skeleton wasted their turn. Now for the Bone Shaper proper. Let's look at their cards. Okay. Let's see. My plan was to use Decaying Will and then Fell Remedy. I was hoping that we'd get extra bonus from that. But we could heal an ally for a bunch. So we could heal our friendly city guard. Actually, I think we're too far away. That's a distance of 5? Yeah, that's only a distance of 3. So we're going to stick to the original plan. We're going to heal ourselves, and then Decaying Will, we will attack a enemy who is adjacent to one of our summons. And this time we get to infuse Earth. So an attack of 1, that's going to be adjacent to the summon. Again, I want to kill that archer if I can. And the archer isn't next to the summon. So I can make an attack of 1. I've got a shot to kill it. I'll also poison it, which is not terrible. But an attack of 2 against the priest, like you need that pierce to really get through it. So, yeah, an attack of 2. Poison would be great against the priest, though. The poison status effect, I haven't said yet. Anytime you attack someone who is poisoned, you basically add 1 to the attack. So it makes everything do more damage. It's a nasty status to have. And that's definitely something I want to get onto the priest. Yeah, let's set up on the priest. I I just don't think we've got the best chance of getting that +1 against the archer to feel like I'm gonna be able to kill it. There's a chance, but if I can get the poison on the priest, that's basically gonna negate one of his shields for every person who attacks him going forward. So we are going to target that priest with our Decaying Will. So it's an attack of 2 because he's next to our summon. So let's go player 2. -1. So we didn't do any damage, but we are poisoning them. So let's go into the app. This is the priest and poison. There we go. Okay, and yep, that shows up floating above his head. Looks like there isn't a easy shortcut to changing their like applying the statuses in here, at least that I have found so far. So we didn't kill him, but we do have poison. And yes, the heal yourself. No one else, no enemies died this turn, so we only get the heal of 1. The other one is simply lost. So we've done all of our turns. Now let's see who's coming up next. The Archer. The Archer is getting their attack of 4 at range 3 after all. Now the Archer doesn't need to move. Let's see, the first person in initiative order is actually our Deathwalker this time. It's equal distance, and the Deathwalker went before either of the Bone Shaper things. So this is an attack of 4. Yeah, they don't move to maximum range. They basically move until they are within range. Actually, let me check that. Let's see if they actually seek to be at maximum range. Okay, confirmed. The monsters only move. They move the minimum amount to do their attacks. So he's not going to move to his maximum range, which would be good strategy if you're, archers. Get as far back from them as possible, force them to go through the traps or something. But no, they will only move away from the target to get rid of that disadvantage, which he doesn't have here. So, attack of 4. Oof. This would be a good time for a monster miss. I'll take a -1. That is 3 damage to our Deathwalker. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. And then, last up, we've got the City Guard, who does nothing. And we've reached the end of this round. Okay, now it's time to pick our next set of cards. See if we can start. Well, I really want to take that guy out. Let's see what we can do next. Oh! Hey, yeah, we didn't get our loot, but it didn't automatically auto-loot for me. I'm sure that's an option here. Automatically, yeah, end of round looting. It did not do that for me. Okay, so our Banner Spear has gathered 1 loot token. Keep track of it. So I'm going to draw the loot in the Assistant app. And we've got 1 lumber. Okay, we can track that real quick. Boop, up to 1. Time to pick our cards for next turn, and we'll be right back. I'm ready for the next turn. I did notice, I think I made a mistake a little bit earlier. Our Deathwalker does have the Flea-Bitten Shawl, which means they're always treated as the lowest initiative. So I think that Archer should have attacked and killed the skeleton instead of that. I'm not 100% sure, and I just don't want to go back in like the video stuff and make sure of that, but I suspect that happened. So we're just going to move ahead. He always, I guess, loses ties in terms of he's the last one to be attacked when you're looking at people who are all the same distance. So we got that. Time to start the round. And here we all go. So first up, the Archer again. Hasty Assault. They managed to beat me in the initiative, so what have we got here? Attack of 2 at range 4. So if I got it wrong last time, I'm going to get it right this time. Attack of 2. Yep, it doesn't matter that they're both distance 2. He will target the skeleton because he's treated as though he has initiative 99. That looks like it would have turned out that way anyway. 26 versus 34. So attack of 2 against our skeleton friend here. Let's see, monster attack. +0. Yep, he has eliminated this skeleton. So, poof. The skeleton is now off the board again. And interesting thing about that is, yeah, this isn't a loss card. So after it gets played, when it gets defeated, it is only sent to the discard, not into the loss. discard. When it dies, put it into the discard pile. That's a very important distinction related to summons from other characters from previous games. So that skeleton can be recovered and used later, but he's out for this round. Okay, the archer is done. So now we're over to our bone shaper, who doesn't have their skeleton in the way for them this time. So what else are we doing? Yeah, the plan was to use the internal torment to give that summon an attack against that priest. Dang it. But I suppose we can still... Yeah, we have the earth that was infused last turn, so we can consume the earth to get a move 5. And this is the character that we need to make sure they always end next to a wall. Let's see, unfortunately that obstacle is in the way. Because of the priest, we can't get all the way next to the city guard like what I was hoping for. I think our Deathwalker's going to get him, so we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. We can be next to the archer, not next to the priest. And now we've got not an attack, but a curse at range 5. And we're going to re-infuse darkness, so that's great, it's already at the right spot. And we don't get the attack. So the way a curse works is you take the one from the right deck, and then it gets shuffled into their deck. So I'm going to apply a curse to the Algox priest inside of... Oh, oops. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know I could click on them to go through. You can actually click on them as you go through, and so now it thinks I've gone through everyone except for Disha, but no, I was trying to click on the priest and give him one curse. And now we should see over in the app. Oh, I think those are different counters. That's not the monster curse button. I think that it specifically says that those tokens are only supposed to be used for certain, certain scenarios tracking, like, status things. So that is not going to do that for us. Ah, there it is. Monster curse. There's a button. There we go. Yep, one of the curses came out and was shuffled into their remaining attack modifier deck. There, fixed it. Okay, we have cursed the priest. Archer's already gone, so we're safe for the rest of this round for him. So now that Ison has gone, it's time for Zane. Zane has an attack, and thanks to that strengthened darkness, with the strengthened darkness, we can make an attack of 2, but that boosts it up to an attack of 3 and gives us an experience. So it's an attack of 3 against 2 targets at range 2. And now if we look up here, both of our enemies are range 2 from our Deathwalker, so we get an attack of 3 against each of them. Now let's attack the archer first. There we go, down here. So this is player 3, attacking the archer with 3. Okay, a +0 is enough. So that character is dead, and now there are 2 loot tokens in that space. And now we've got an attack of 3 against the Algox priest, but because they have poison, it's effectively a 4, although they still have that shield of 2. There we go, that's the right button. Still, I've put in a bunch of helpful commands that I will learn over time. So it's an attack of, 3, effectively 4, and -1. Back down to 3. And thanks to the 2 shield, we only did 1 damage after all that. But it did damage. Okay, that was our Deathwalker's turn. Next up on the initiative list is... Let's see, the city guard just sits there and does nothing. The priest. Nothing special. A movement of up to 3, then attack 3, pierce 2 at range 3. So who's going to be the focus of this Algox priest? Everyone is range 2 away. The Deathwalker will always be targeted last because they've got that shawl. So the first one who moved was going to be Ison. So this is... I may have to lose a card to prevent damage here. So it's an attack of 3 with pierce 2. If we don't get a discount on this damage, we are going to... well, we're going to have to deal with that. Okay, so 0. So that's enough damage that our Bone Shaper would be defeated. So you always have the option of losing one of the cards that's in your hand currently, And so it goes into the lost pile. You can't use it again the rest of the scenario. So I can just, I pick one of these, and it goes away for this round. I would really like to have a horde of skeletons. I've been holding off on summoning them all, because I'm assuming there's going to be more in the town. We've got a total of 4 summons with us, so we're going to lose one of our damned horde cards. It goes into the lost pile, which you can see is marked by that little X. Okay, so you can lose a card to negate all the damage from an attack, and that's what we did. So we're not exhausted really early in this scenario. I was also hoping this skeleton would still be alive and he would get the attack on him. Let's see, who's left in this round? Disha, our banner spear. Okay. So my plan was summon a reinforcement and then tip of the spear. Let's make sure that still works. Okay, good. So we are in a direct line and they are 2 away from us. So the way tip of the spear works is the ally has to be behind us and we hit 2 spaces in front of us, which will hit it. So we're going to summon our special reinforcement friend out onto the field, and we can summon them into a space next to us. In this case, we're going to summon them right behind us, and oh, that also gives us an experience. Excellent. So it'll be an attack of 3 that pierces 3. We're going to get past all that shield, and where's our reinforcement friend? Hey, you're onto the field. Summon? Oh, he's active. So he has to be behind us, and that gives us the formation from the card. We're in the middle, behind us, and then we hit the 2 spaces in front of us. Oh, hey, the pointer's back. So we can hit him. It's an attack of 3. The Pierce 3 is going to overwhelm his shields. So the poison makes an attack of 4, and we get to ignore the shields this time. We got a good shot at getting this guy. I was hoping to inflict more status effects on this guy, but really most of what these 2 can do is poison, and he has to inflict the status effects himself. I think it's going to be tougher to get that objective than I thought. So draw for player 1. Okay, +0. At least it's not a minus. That's going to do 4 damage straight through to this guy. Down to 2 health. Not quite dead, but he's feeling it. And now it's time to choose our cards for the next round. We'll be right back. I just realized that I forgot to use the item from the Bone Shaper. They've got the Warden's Cloak, so they could have prevented 2 damage to their summon. I forgot it. I gotta keep on top of these things. Remember it next time. Okay, we're ready for the next round. Oh. Normally you're supposed to put these face down because you've got, like, all the players are supposed to be doing stuff entirely hidden from each other. So it's supposed to be flipping them upright. Yep. Okay, so let's look at the order of things. Our Algox Priest, movement of 2, heal all allies and bless themselves. So a bless card is sort of the opposite of a curse card. When you draw one of those, it's basically like a critical hit. It doubles your attack instead of making you just entirely whiff on the attack. Okay, but it looks like our banner spear is going first. And what's more, the reinforcement gets to go even before the banner spear. So, notably, the reinforcement does have that uniqueness in that you can control... Oh, where did I put him? He's over in this area. Yeah, you can control the movements of this summon, which is very unusual. So I want to put him very specifically in the spot so that we can set up a resolved courage attack. I am hoping that I can inflict immobilize on him, and if that's the case, I'll just have all the rest of my characters not attack this turn, and next turn he'll be both poisoned and immobilized, and I can complete the battle goal. So the equivalent of the players who aren't supposed to be able, like, you don't tell them the battle goal is basically, he's mine, and that could match a number of battle goals. I feel like that would be an equivalent, battlefield speak. Or, leave him to me. We are now in position to perform a resolved courage. Oh wait, I'm going to use a basic move to get him in position, so that gives me a movement of 2. So I need to have the ally behind me, and then I can hit the 3 spots in front of me. Now let's go up to the battlefield and make sure that works. So I can use my movement of 2 to get onto the difficult terrain. So with the ally behind me, remember that you can rotate that card around. That means that I can hit those 3 spaces. So that does allow me to get an attack against the Algox Priest using that card. And if we look again at exactly what it is, it's attack of 3 that will immobilize. We're also going to get another experience out of this. Excellent, excellent. That was just a basic move. So attack of 3 and immobilize. So one notable thing is most conditions, like you're applying poison or applying immobilize, those happen after the damage is inflicted. So unfortunately, I can't say, I immobilized him first and now he's got the 2 conditions. No, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. I looked it up. We would need a minus of some sort to not kill him. +1, that guy is very dead. That's a total of 5, minus the 2 shield. Oop. And now all of the enemies are off the board, and nothing else is going to happen until we open this door, but there is clearly a lot of map left to us, so we should not feel too confident at this point. No idea what's out there yet, which is very exciting. That's one new thing I like about the way they've implemented these books as opposed to the Gloomhaven ones, is that we don't get to see what's in the other rooms. Those are split out among different sections, kind of like how this big field was revealed, when we got to that point in the section book last time. And when it was in Gloomhaven, the entire map with the locations of every monster were revealed, so even though, you can pretend you've got, player knowledge, I don't know that the enemies are exactly 3 spaces away from the door on the other side, versus if you were min-maxing, playing everything to within maximum potential, then you could plan for what they're likely to do after that. And I'd say, if you're replaying a mission, that's okay. Back into the moment. So, our banner spear just killed a guy. Woo! And now their turn is complete. Zane is up next. So Zane, the plan is just to move 3. We'll reinfuse some darkness. And then just heal yourself for 2. That targets all allies who are in Shadow's hexes, but there are no shadows at the moment, which is severely crippling his capabilities. But it also targets himself. So he gets to move 3 and heal himself for 2. He probably shouldn't have lost the health before, but that's in the past. So movement of 3, he can pick up that loot. I think I'll have the Bone Shaper pick up that one, just because he's already next to it. So move 3 over there, and then at the end of his turn... Oh, I wonder. Let's see, how did I do it last time? Okay, if I click on the symbol, that sort of marks the end of his turn. So I'm going to do that for Zane, and let's see if it draws a card for me. Ah, it did it! That's how I need to do it. So Zane has picked up a lumber, and let's go down to his card. Did it add it for me? Nope, but it did at least draw the card for me, so I know he picked up 1 lumber. Cool, I've now learned how to auto-loot. Haha. See, getting better at it all the time. So that's his turn. He moved over to the loot tile, got some lumber. Now the last one is going to be, city guard doesn't move, so Ison. So we are going to summon a Wraith. New one we didn't get to see last time. This one actually is a lost card, so it doesn't go into the discard, it goes into the lost pile after it gets defeated. But this is a new summon familiar. Only has 1 hit point, but has 2 shield. So very brittle, but they also fly, which means they ignore any difficult terrain or trap hexes on the field. Let's see, movement of 2, range of 3. I love summons that have ranged attacks, because that means they're basically following behind and sort of pinging things, but things like the skeletons or, say, the banner spear are going to take the hits. So this is just a free attack of 1. Maybe you're going to get, 1 point of damage every turn off of this, but just going through the deck more, you're more likely to at least get something, either some kind of damage, or you'll, waste a -1 and you can give that to the better attackers. So we're going to put a Wraith on the field, and we're just going to use the basic move of the other side. All right, this is going to be a continuing card. Where is the Wraith? Let's see. Yeah, they can have a lot of undead if you bring them up to the battlefield. So I'm going to summon them. before moving. That way they're closer to where the enemies are going to be after we open this door. And then we're going to basic move onto the 2 loot, and let's see this thing go. Oh, okay, I got up to them now. Okay, a coin and 1 hide. Let's see, and we can also see what went by. So, yep, it was 1 coin. Back over here. So 1 coin and 1 hide. Now, very importantly, 1 coin does not mean 1 gold. Let's see, what's the best way to signify this? Well, the reason they aren't just 1 for 1 is if you go to the reference, there's a multiplier. So the higher the level, each one of those coins is worth more. So on level 1, each one of those coins is worth 2 gold instead of just 1. But as you get higher, it can go much better conversion ratios. So that's why when we got the 1 coin, it's actually 2 gold. And what I was hoping was that there would be a coin symbol somewhere. It may just be hidden, but I need to track that. I suppose I could just say, here, take your 2 gold. And 1 hide. Okay, I can do it that way. In Gloomhaven, there were actually like little coin symbols that would drop on the map everywhere. And they would go down to your character sheet, and then when you ended the scenario, it would like auto-calculate and update your gold. I don't see a feature for that in here, but maybe it's there and I just haven't found it yet, like the auto-loot thing. So I'll keep my eyes out, but I just did it manually for now. So that's our Bone Shaper's turn, and that is the last thing that's on the board this round. We're getting close to needing to do some rests, as our character's hands. Each character has 2 or 3 cards left. This first one is the cards, the first row is the cards they brought into the scenario. I have the second row as the cards that are in the reserve. Like they've unlocked those cards, but they're not available in this scenario. And when I'm selecting the cards, I just bring them up, and then the little hand thing pops up. So we are almost at the point where we have to rest. It'd probably be a good idea to at least like get up to that front door and maybe do all of our long rests so that each character will have lost 1 card, but then they're ready to go when we jump into the next room. As far as I can tell, there is no like time pressure that's going on. Like we didn't hear any countdowns or whatnot. It didn't give us a round tracker to worry about. Otherwise, those couple of extra times I hit end round would have been a big problem. Hopefully not. So yeah, that's going to be the next plan. I'm going to choose the cards and we'll be right back. So one important thing that's a bit different this time is I'm going to have the Deathwalker perform a long rest, so I didn't give them cards this turn. I believe it's smart enough to figure that out. And the other 2 characters are going to be playing cards. And then probably short resting at the end of this round. Did it get it? Yep, it successfully or correctly said initiative of 99 for Zane. So that's good. Okay, Disha is going first. And I suppose the most first thing is that our reinforcement we can move them by 2. Yeah, realistically, our banner spear is kind of in the way, so this spot is no worse than where we were before. And now what we are going to do is we are going to grant 2 allies within range 3 a movement of 3. We're going to help the other people get up to our spot on the battlefield. So what I very much want is to get the Bone Shaper forward, and that also means we can get the Deathwalker to get right up to the door. So we move the Deathwalker first, and then we can command our Bone Shaper friend to get over to there. Now we've kind of put our frontline person in the back at the moment. We'll have to figure out a way to switch that around. And then we're not going to do the attack on the top half of their other card. So that's just going to... Yeah, we're not doing an attack there. Okay. Now, our Bone Shaper, we're going to summon a skeleton and basic move. Suppose I could activate that, make our summons. Yeah, what the heck, I played it, let's activate them both. Okay, so, and that's also going to let me show how these specific markers work. So we're going to summon a skeleton, that's going to give us an experience, and we're also going to activate a continuing ability. So in this case, we have little markers. So when I hit end round, though, it's going to, I hope, take care of that. Oh, it didn't put the marker on us for us. Those are, oh, these are the markers. So yeah, these things, when you have one of these abilities that has these progressions of circles, you start one of your markers on the very first symbol, the one that's got the dotted line. And so each time this effect activates, you move the tracker forward one spot. And after the last one has activated, see that little red one, the ability is completed, and then in this case it would be a lost card, so it would go into your lost pile, and you can't play it again this scenario. But each time you leave one of those spaces with the experience point markers, well, you get an experience. So if we successfully activate this ability all 3 times, we will have earned 2 experience over the course of the mission. And we've got our returned servant. We also have to take the 2 damage, but our skeleton is back on the board. Here we go. Yep, I think we're going to have our Deathwalker come in next turn. The Bone Shaper's in a bit of trouble. We may just have them sit in this first room and long rest while everyone else runs in next turn. So now it's time for us to activate our short rests. And, oh right, we did the long rest for them. So now what happens is because they did a long rest, so we can choose which card we want to lose. If you do a short rest, it's a random selection. So I'll resolve this and we'll come back. But notably, with the long rest, you also recover 2 health. So we'll get that on the board at least. Now I'll resolve the long rest and figure out what we're doing for next turn. So be right back. Since our Banner Spear is going to do a short rest, I'm going to show an example of what that looks like in here. So there's a nice handy shuffle button here. So in our short rest, we lose the first one. That's one of my favorite cards. So if you really don't want to lose one specific card, you can take 1 damage and do this again, and then lose the other card instead. But you can't keep doing that. But because that's got the Pierce especially, it's great at killing those priests, and it's almost my only Pierce card. So I'm going to have to lose something else instead. So we've lost our Banner of Strength and the Disabling Attack. Relatively, I'm okay with that. And then the rest of the cards come back into your hand. Ta-da. And see, I got the hand set up there. And they've got all their cards back. So those 2 are going to activate this round, and the Bone Shaper's just going to long rest. Okay, back to selecting cards. Okay, got our cards selected. We're going to break into this room, and let's see what's going to happen next. Start round. So our Bone Shaper is going to long rest this time. I decided they had to long rest because they're down to 1 hit point, and a lot of their summons hurt them when they get summoned, so we need to build those hit points just back up. But if we open the door, then the couple of summons we've already got on the field are going to get a chance to do something, and so we're going to go from there. Now, the first one up on our initiative order is going to be our Deathwalker Zane. Okay, and what do they got? So, taking a little bit of a risk, but I'm really hoping on how it's going to turn out. I do not know what's on the other side of that door, but Zane is right at that door. We're going to do 2 different lost cards here. A little bit risky, but I think this is going to be fun, so that's why I'm doing it. So it's going to be a movement of 6. We should be able to get a good way into that room and choose a spot, hopefully near, say, some city guards inside where we can hide behind them, and then using the flea-bitten shawl not be the focus of the attacks. And that's also going to give us 1 free shadow deep in that room, and on top of that, we're going to be able to place 3 more shadows in hexes within range 3. So we're going to bust way into that room and place down 4 shadows. Zane's got a maximum of 5. Felix is giving me a funny look from his cat bed over there. So, 4 shadows deep in the room, that's going to really buff up our Deathwalker. So, movement of 6, and that also means we're going to open the door. So their very first movement. Okay, 3 players detected. And reading section 5.3. Let's take a look at this. Well, we're coming in behind them, but there's a lot of them. Okay, so we've got a couple of regular archers that were in the back lines. We got 3 different regular city guards on the inside, on the opposite side from us. Okay, these corridors, so that means this is in fact one very large room. They are not separated. We got a couple of loot. So we've got these guards are the melee guys, 2 of them out front. We've got an elite archer in the middle, an elite guard down there, and some more priests. Okay, I was hoping to have a city guard somewhere near us on this side. Oof. Well, we do have some new open information. As soon as we revealed them, their ability cards were drawn and added to the board. So we get to see what all these monsters on the field are going to do. Should see a tail going by in a second. Oh, Felix. Oh boy. So we should take a look at what they're all doing, and that's going to help us figure out where we should go within this room, figure out what's safe. So the guards they're not going to move, they're going to stay put. If they don't have a movement indicated on their card, they don't do it. Which means the 3 guards that are on the field, the elite and then the 2 regulars, they're not moving at all. So as long as you don't stand next to them, you're safe from them. Now the priest, the loot card stuff is right in front of part of it. He's going to move and heal. Now, as far as I know, I suppose I should read the section first, but I got into the strategy stuff. Let's just finish it up real quick. Oh, Felix wants attention. Yes, I can't see anything past you. So the priests want to heal. The archers want to shoot foot. So move of 2 and then an attack that's going to pin someone in place. So we do know that we're going to have some immobilization to deal with. And let's see, how many archers are there? There's 3. Oof. And if we're closer, they're going to target us. And each of them's got a nasty attack on here. So this is an argument against having the Deathwalker go very far in. Yeah, they've got a move of 2 and then a range of 5. All those archers are going to be able to make that attack, unfortunately. But I guess if I get far enough in, at least one of them won't attack us. So that's something to keep in mind. And then the guards, they do nothing. Got it. So really the archers are the biggest problem here. The guards, as long as you don't stand next to them, you're safe. The priests want to heal. Okay, now let's get into trying to see over cat. Okay, let's look for that section. It was section something or other, but let's see. Yep, this one turned to us. So A Town in Flames, section 1. Here we are, down here. You run inside the gate, and the breadth of destruction becomes quickly apparent. The town has been sacked. Smoke burns your eyes. What structures still stand are bright with fire, and the rest smolder. Their frames like black, torched skeletons. And all about the wreckage howl the Algox celebrating their victory in an unrecognizable language. Yep, oh, and that's it, and everything else is just how it got set up. So, yeah, that's section 5.4, that's not part of it. Okay, so that's it for over there. So our goal remains defeat all enemies. And the city guard are still not doing anything but being damage sponges. As far as I know, we don't even need to keep them alive, but oftentimes you'll get bonuses for, keeping the guards alive. Maybe those guards, if they are alive, are going to form the basis of, the town guard. Like, I noticed at level 1, the barracks can have up to 4 soldiers, and it just so happens that there are 4 city guard on this battlefield that can spawn. So maybe whoever survives will be our starting town guard. That would make sense, but I could be totally off. Huh. There's floating text above a lot of these. With like +1. I think that's his health. His health is just glitching out for some reason. You can see the shadow. It doesn't like it when you give them more health. Well, I don't know why it's not showing up when it's at full health, but everyone in the second room has it. Minor thing. But so it would be nice to send the guards, the Algox guards, after the city guards. They'll slowly whittle down their health, but they'll take a bunch of retaliation damage, and that'll make our lives easier. Where the distribution of enemies is. Yeah, those archers suck. We may have to discard another card to, negate damage or something. But we're going to have to do a lot of counting distance to figure out what the right spot is for where our Deathwalker should go. We've already used one of our 6 movements. We have 5 further we can get into the room. So we could pretty much get almost anywhere within that first room, but we don't want to end up next to one of them. So we could go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could end on that loot, which wouldn't be a terrible spot. We wouldn't get attacked by that card. Let's see. The archers have a range of 5 and a movement of 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they would choose to focus on, let's see, the city guard. Actually, yeah, this one would be closer to these city guards than us, because he could move 2 and shoot through that doorway. So as long as we're further away, at least this archer is going to choose to attack someone over here, which is great. That serves them up on a platter for our people coming through the door. So really, if we move down to that loot, we're going to have to make it through 2 different attacks. But we will be able to put shadows all across this side of the battlefield, and that can allow us to do some really powerful attacks next time. I am setting myself up for some nasty damage. Oh yeah, all of their health things switched over. Weird, I don't know why it's not rendering the color green anymore. If we just completely backed out of this and ran away, who would they attack? Probably, yeah, I mean, they'll attack the city guard, and I'm assuming you get bonuses for protecting the city guard. We're going to get our health back at the end of the scenario. So as long as we make it through, we'll be fine. Oh, well, what's their order? The Algox guards, so the melee guys are going first. Our Banner Spear is going to be able to get all the way to the door where the Deathwalker currently is. So if there's any kind of a tie, then the archers would go after them at least. The priests go, then the archers go. Okay, so the archer is going last amongst all the relevant people. Hey, no guts, no glory. So we already counted out. We know we can get to there with Zane. So he moves there. He gets to put in a shadow. Make a few more. So the space that he ends in, he gets to place a shadow. Let's put it on the bottom. And now, checking his card again. That's going to be lost. Mark that one. So place 3 shadows in hexes within 3. Strengthen some dark. And that's also going to be lost. So within 3 spaces of where they are. So let's put one next to the Algox guard over there. Let's put one next to the elite archer. Actually, yeah, we'll put it between the 2 of them. And where's the last one going to go? Oftentimes you can do like teleport stuff with these shadows. I want to make sure there's one next to everyone who's near us. So we'll put the other shadow next to us. I think I can... Let's see, did it specifically say empty hexes? Nope, just in hexes. Okay, they ignore all the other features. Okay, we've now got 4 shadows on the board. That's it for Zane. And auto loot, they got 1 metal. So mark that on. Now they've got 1 of each. Huzzah. Okay, next up are the Algox guards, who get 1 shield this round. And they would attack if anyone was adjacent and poison. That's a nasty attack for them, but thankfully they are not next to anyone, so they waste their turns. So over to Disha. So our Banner Spear, notably the reinforcement goes first, so he can spend his 2 movement to get onto that tile, the difficult terrain. Now what else do they have going? So movement of 4, and then I set up the Javelin. So an attack of 3 at range 3, that's going to make some wind. Let's make sure we can actually hit someone from there. Yep, you can move through your allies, at least, without difficulty. So attack 3 at range 3. I could hit either of the archers. I think I want to target that one, specifically because maybe I get lucky and get the crit or the +2, and then that's 1 less attack our Deathwalker's going to take. I don't mind if our Banner Spear takes a hit from them. We still haven't used the armor or the heater shield for their defense stuff. Okay, so we can make the attack. That means we are infusing wind. And it's attack 3 at range 3. So what has he got? Ooh, +1. 4 damage. Almost dead. Still gonna get that attack, though. Okay. What else is going on? Now going down, tends to the clan. So, as I went over earlier, when they're doing like healing abilities or non-combat abilities, they still move as though they were doing an attack. So in order for the... Let's see, I thought I saw a priest. Is there only one priest on this side? So yeah, there's only the one priest, which means only one is going to have to figure this out. So they move as though it's a melee attack. Unfortunately, they moved into range to perform their heal. So it's a heal of 3. Well, that... I mean, they're not fully healed. They have tended to the clan. Okay, now it's time for these archers to go, and they're going to be doing some immobilization ugliness. Okay, so the elite archer. Range 4, range 3, range farther than 3. So elite archer is attacking our Deathwalker. The attack has strength 3 because he's elite, and it's going to immobilize our Zane. So there we go, immobilized. Okay. And attack of 3, so we need to draw one of their cards. -1, good for us, so it only did 2 damage. Now their health bar is back. But he cannot move until the end of his next turn. So that means it doesn't go away at the end of this round. He's going to have to go through his next actual acting turn with that. Next archer, let's see, we go by number order. So number 4 is up here. They could move, but we're already in range, so it's an attack of 2 against our banner spear. And yeah, letting Disha get immobilized kinda sucks. But hopefully they've got another ranged attack in them that they can use on the next turn. So this is an attack of 2. Oh, +1. I forgot to use the armor for disadvantage, but we can still use the heater shield. So we move that sideways to indicate it's been used, and we gain 1 shield for this attack. So instead of 3 damage, we only take 2. Okay. And now this archer is closest to our Deathwalker. So that's where the attack is going. Attack of 2. Doubled. Ooh. Okay, so that's 4 damage. We're going to have to lose a card to not get knocked out. Thankfully, our Deathwalker does have a lot of cards. And especially because they just did their whole rest thing. Okay, I'm going to pick the card to lose, and this is actually the last thing in... Oh wait, no, the summons are going to get to move. I'm going to pick the card to lose off-screen. We lost the Deathwalker's summon ability, which I don't think I was going to use in this situation anyway. So we've canceled the damage from that archer's attack, and now that's it for the archers. The guards, they do nothing, and it's time for our Bone Shaper's turn. But even though they're going to be doing a long rest in a moment, next up, we actually do the summons first, and I believe we summoned the Wraith before the Skeleton. So the Wraith's stats, I need to make sure about these things. Yeah, so they move 2, they're flying, so they actually ignore that obstacle that's in the way. And they do have a range 3 on their attack. Get back up to the battlefield. So they do get up to here, but yeah, range 3, the enemies are just out of range for them. And the Skeleton would go next, but all the spaces are occupied, and darn it, they're immobilized, so the Skeleton's going to have to filter through. I've sort of, I guess, hosed myself a little bit here. Bit unfortunate, but my own fault, I suppose. Yeah, really the immobilize was the worst part, because otherwise we could get in there and unclog everything. We'd just all shuffle through. Okay, now the Bone Shaper resolves their long rest, so they get their 2 health, and then I'll also pick which card they're going to lose and the rest go back into their hand. I'll do that off screen, and then that's the end of the round. Alright, we are ready to go. I'm gonna see if we can keep that Deathwalker alive. Starting round. So what's going on? Okay, first up, the enemy guards are staying put again. Useful for us. they are going to shield and gain a couple of retaliate, so as long as we don't start melee attacking them, we're going to be fine, and we can ignore them for another turn. Great for us. If we look ahead, the priests are going to heal again, at least there's only one of them, and the archers continue to be, very, very nasty. I want to get rid of these archers as fast as I can. They're doing hard attacks basically every turn. So we are learning that the guards are very much mostly immobile towers that are very tough, and the archers are nasty. I suppose the city guards are keeping themselves alive by continuing to do nothing. And I guess I'm keeping them alive by putting my Deathwalker in harm's way. But aside from that, okay, we've got everything sorted out. So first up, the Algox guards. Now they've got one shield for the rest of the round. Keep that in mind. Okay, Isone is next. That means the summons are coming up. So first up, we've got the Wraith, who has a range of 3 and an attack of just 1. So who would they target? Who's closest? Those are all 4 away, and unfortunately the guard moved first. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, the Wraith is going to target this elite guard who has... They now have a shield. Thankfully, they're not close enough for the retaliate to hit, but it's an attack of 1 and a defense of 1. So now we are drawing an attack from player 2. Oh, it's a +1, so even with that shield, wow, 12 health. Yeah, this is the toughest person on the board right now, by a lot. Well, at least we'll hopefully have a chance to get 2 statuses on them and then finish them off with our Banner Spear for that bonus. Ah yes, I can't forget that they have to stay next to a wall. Next up, the skeleton can move forward by 1, but the Banner Spear is blocking the rest of their movement. Now it's our Bone Shaper's turn. So the cards themselves, we are going to activate Flow of the Black River. So we get a heal equal to the number of summons, which is 2 + 1. So heal for 3. And we can do it from right here as well. And now, when the next enemy dies this round, all allies and enemies adjacent to the hex in which it died suffer 2 damage because their corpse exploded. So I am hoping that that will work out on the battlefield. Really, that I'm trying to kill this archer and attack with some direct damage against the guard. Okay, that is our Bone Shaper's turn. They're all the way up to 6 now. Ah, yeah, that weird artifact's still there. Okay, so Bone Shaper did not move. They are done. Now the priest comes in and wants to heal 3 at range 3. But they are still moving as though they are melee attacking the Deathwalker, but they can reach both injured people. So it is ties are broken by whoever has the greatest difference in HP, but they're both 1. So I think that we would just go to the normal initiative rules, target the person earlier in initiative, which would be the guard, unfortunately. So, heal of 1 against them. Now the priest is done. Okay, Zane gets to go next. So Zane. This one I'm a little bit excited for. We're doing more special ability things. But we're activating Fluid Night. So whenever our Deathwalker would suffer damage, you may instead teleport to a hex with a shadow, remove the shadow, and negate the damage. And then this card gets discarded. So it's going to be in effect, and then when I would take damage, this thing's just going to stay on the board until I would take damage, and then I teleport over to a shadow somewhere else and the damage is gone. A very nice get out of the way kind of a card. And teleporting doesn't care about immobilize because it's not a move ability. And this is the fun one. Wave of Anguish. For each shadow on the map at the start of this action, perform an attack of 3. Perform each attack as if you were occupying the hex with the shadow. And we get an XP for it. It will be lost at the end of the turn. So each of those 4 shadows, we can make an attack of 3 from that spot, and this doesn't even remove the shadows. The cost is really that it's a lost card. So this is a beefy attack, and I'm also going to remember to use my Fueled Falchion this time. Don't kill an elite enemy. I'll try. So we've got 4 shadows on the board, counting the one we're standing on. So each one of these gets to make an attack of 3. Let's just start here and go clockwise around. So the first one's going to be attacking that archer for 3. Player 3's deck. Ooh, crit! that means we just did 6 damage, so that archer is suddenly... Oop, one too many. That archer is in a lot of pain. Haha. Yep. I suppose one thing I didn't mention earlier is whenever you draw one of these either miss or critical cards, it has that little shuffle icon, and that means at the end of the round, when you've drawn one of those 2 cards, you shuffle all of the those cards back in. So all of the other cards we've drawn throughout the scenario are still going to be in the discard and aren't coming back out until the end of a round where we've drawn the shuffle. Or if we actually run out of cards, I have had that happen in Gloomhaven where someone, I think it was my Orchid Spellweaver, who had strengthened, so every attack was at advantage and hit everyone in the room. Yeah, I've gone through the entire attack deck and had to shuffle it mid-turn before. Feels great when you can do it, bad when the monsters do it. Okay, next attack. So player 3, this one's going to be against the priest that's next to us. It's the one we're standing on. +0, so still 3 damage. Oh, but this is a regular priest, so he only has 1 shield. Let's see, yep, Algox priest, the left side is the regular side, only has 1 shield. So he'll be easier to kill than the guy who was outside. I guess the spiritual leader was holding back. We've got these 2. So we're going to attack this archer. Yeah, I wonder, because you're supposed to perform the attack as though you were in that space, so I guess the retaliate from the elite guy is going to hit me. I haven't considered that, but I guess I'm going to take a couple damage here. Okay, what was it? Yeah, attacking the archer. Come on, +1, +1. Ah, that's the opposite. I was hoping he would die, explode, and hit the other guy. Okay, now we're doing our attack of 3. This guard, unfortunately, has a shield and 2 retaliate. So we're going to take 1 off of our damage. Okay, so he still takes 2 damage. And now we have to figure out the question of, yeah, as if you were attacking, occupying the hex, so we do take our 2 retaliate damage, but whenever you would suffer damage, okay, it's a choice. So I could take the 2 damage and save this, but, I mean, where would I want to teleport to? So that I would be less in danger. I'll just stay put and remove the shadow I was standing on, so that one's gone. Okay, that was our Deathwalker's turn. Now it is time for the archers to do their worst. Okay, so they can move an attack of either 4 or 5, but this one's only at range 3, so they're going to have to move to hunt us down. So you know what, that is an extremely good reason to take the damage, because that card gets discarded as soon as I use it. I don't want to use it yet, because I'm about to get attacked by 5 damage. So I'm going to take the 2 damage. We haven't done anything else yet, so I think this is an okay changing of the mind. Because this archer has but 1 target to attack, and that's going to be our Deathwalker. We're going to need that point of damage here. So attack of 5 at range 3. They're already in range 3. Here we go. +0. Okay, now we're going to use that card, not take 5 damage. And suddenly be a little bit happier about that. Okay. Next up, we've got the other 2. So now that thing is not going to be a... I suppose I should just move that directly to our discard. That doesn't accidentally do something else. Okay, next archer, this one. So, closest is the Banner Spear, an attack of 4. And they're already within range. These are strong attacks for level 1. Very strong attacks. Oof. Wait. Okay, I haven't looked at it yet. I still have my my leather armor, and I can, before you draw the card, you can make it a disadvantage. Yeah, so you spend the item. You can get these items back by performing a long rest, and then they would become ready to use again. So before drawing the modifier card, it gains disadvantage, so you draw 2 and take the worse. So draw 2. Okay, it was a +1 and a -1. It's the -1, so it is 3 damage. Ooh. Okay, they didn't move at all. Now we've got this archer. So this archer is going to target The Wraith, interestingly enough, instead of our Deathwalker, because of that flea-bitten shawl, finally they've got a better target. And they do have 2 shield, but this is an attack of 4. We do have that, we have a couple of things that can negate damage to summons, though. So actually, this should work out for us. Attack against the Wraith. It's a miss. We don't even have to use any of those cards. Cool. So Archer missed the Wraith. Good job, Wraith. Okay, the archers are all now complete. The city guards never do anything. Finally, it's Disha's turn, and also her summon. Summon gets to move up. Now, this is the turn where she's immobilized and can't move. So when we go look at her cards, I was hoping that like one of the Algox melee guys was going to come up, and maybe I could get a unbreakable wall off on them, but that did not happen. That's also why I chose to go really slow with Disha. So instead of that, I think the best thing to do is regroup. So heal 2 at up to range 2. And here's another new status. This is a positive status called Regenerate. At the start of the turn, if you have Regenerate, you just automatically heal 1. It can even be used to cure poisons. So it's a very good status, but you lose that status the next time you suffer any damage. And just apply that to yourself. And then over in the app, I can give the regen. Good. And then we can't move for the other half, so that's just going to end our turn in place. And yep, as soon as we ended our turn, the immobilized status expired. And that's the end of this round. Okay. Okay, we're back. Cards are ready. So, okay, we're all going first. What are they doing? Okay, the guards are finally moving, and they are nasty strong as well. Move 3 and attack 3 or 4. Okay, they're finally going to be engaging some of those city guard. The archers are doing a multi-target attack at range 4, and the priest, hey, is finally just doing their own ranged attack. So Disha is going to be first, and yeah, the reinforcement isn't really in a position to get any further forward. Remember that this isn't actually a door. That's a wall between those two. Only this spot is the open door. Yeah, you can be snow door, no door. Okay, so he can't jump through to that space, unfortunately. So he can't move, which means what is Disha herself doing? Well, we've got a move 2 and then a nice area of effect attack. So move 2, and then I don't think there's going to be any allies in range, unfortunately. But if there are, we could do that. See, I need the Wraith behind me, because that's going to provide an ally to give us an attack against both of the enemies in front of us, and also immobilize them. Oh right, the regen. We get 1 health at the start of the turn. Can't forget that. And then, to remind us what the regroup attack looks like, with 1 ally behind us, attack the 3 in front of us. Attack strength is 3, and we immobilize them. So, let's attack the Algox archer first. Player 1. Hey, +1. Okay, we have finally killed that archer. And this guy doesn't have shield this time. Checking his stats. Yep, no innate shield. That was just a bonus from last turn. So, an attack 3, and he'll probably survive to be immobilized. Okay, so 2 damage. And then we need to give guard number 6. Yep, there we go. And immobilize them. Good. So 8 damage. If only I could kill him when there were 2 status effects applied to him. That would be nice, but it's going to go away later this round, so I won't be so lucky for that. Okay, that's it for Disha. Got a nice kill in there. Oh, I can't forget, did that give me an XP? That did give me an XP. Sometimes I miss these things, and that's important. Leveling up is also a main way to get your character better stats and stuff. Next up is Isone, or rather, Isone's Army of Spirits. Okay, let's zoom in. So the Wraith would go first. The Wraith has a clear target, this immobilized Algox guard. So attack of 1 from player 2's deck. -1. No damage, but at least it got that -1 out of the way for when the next people attack. So we've got Skeleton 1 is 4 away from that, but also that archer. So who is first? The guard is first in the initiative, so the skeleton moves out to there. Okay, now Ison, what are they doing? Okay, so a move forward of 3, and oh, dang, I didn't get their order right. I wanted to have them go first to create the darkness. That's okay, we're still going to move forward 3, and an ally within range 3 can get a small heal. Well, I suppose I should make certain that I didn't mess that up. Let's make sure they're within range 3 after we move forward. Yeah, they would not be. But we could still heal our Banner Spear friend, because they're about to take an attack, so we don't lose anything by moving 3 and then healing 2. There's just no darkness to buff that heal up. That was meant for the Deathwalker, but I got their initiatives reversed. Okay, so a heal of 2. Well, we're going to move forward by 3. So you've gotten to the doorway now. Time to start summoning all of the skeletons. And then we can heal someone in range 3. We're just going to heal the Banner Spear all the way back up to full. That's it for Ison. Now Zane goes. So Zane has Dark Fog, so we're playing another lost card for them, but it's an attack of 3 at range 3 that's going to curse, and it also does a small area of effect. So we only have to have like the closest red hex actually at that range 3, and then the rest we can just sort of assign. Yeah, that was another reason why I was planning to have the Deathwalker go before the other things. Well, messed up my plan. Maybe I don't want to use the area of effect attack anymore, because now none of them are next to each other. Ooh, especially if I can kill that elite archer that's been plaguing me. So what that means is the Dark Fog is going to hit that spot. I can teleport to a space on or adjacent to a shadow afterwards. So yeah, we can easily hit them. So it's an attack of 3 that's also going to curse the archer. Okay, good. +1. That archer is out of the picture, and that was probably the biggest damage dealer on the other side so far. Okay, now for our teleport action, I'm going to finally move the Deathwalker back a little bit. So this loot space is on or adjacent to this shadow, so we can get that loot at the end of our turn. And we're still going to get attacked by the priest. We're probably going to have to lose a card again to negate damage. It just really sucks when you've got, like, your casters just have so little health. And these enemies do a lot of damage for level 1. Yeah, the falchion would not have made a difference on the last attack, so in the other turn. They would have survived, so that's why I didn't use it last time. Okay, we've done our attack. Oh, right, we curse the monsters for 1. Curse, haha. Now that card is gone. We've made the darkness. Okay, teleport. Okay, we've done all that, so time to see what we looted. 1 coin, which is equal to 2 gold on their sheet. Oh hey, this is their first gold. They've gotten all the other material resources. Okay, now it is time for the enemies to begin their assault. So first up are the guards, and the elite guard in particular. So he's going to choose to target the Deathwalker last, so this attack's going after the Banner Spear. An attack of 4. And I do not have my armor or shield active, so this is just going to go straight through. But they missed! Haha! Great feeling when the monsters miss. Okay, so we even get to keep the regen, even though at this point it's not doing anything. Okay, and their immobilize is removed. Okay, now we've got the 2 regular ones in order, so this is going first. And our shambling skeleton is the closest focus. They're closer than the guard. So their movement is 3. They can reach that skeleton for sure. And it's an attack of 3 against that skeleton. I've got a whole bunch of different things that can negate damage to summons. Let's see. I mean, we might draw the curse. Nope, +1. So attack of 4, that would absolutely obliterate the skeleton. So we have a number of things we can use. We can use the Warden's Robe to reduce the damage, but I want to get experience, so I just fully negate that entire attack against the summon, and I get an experience out of it. Okay, now this is the last Algox guard. and they, in fact, are closest to a city guard. So they can reach them, and now we've got someone who is actively threatening those guards. Okay, it's an attack of 3. He does have 2 shields, so the likelihood is not lots of damage. Okay, good. So -1. That means it's an attack of net 2, so it's entirely defended by the shield, and the retaliation takes 2 points of damage off of the Algox guard. Yeah, interesting. Algox, as opposed to Inox, one of the character selections was the Inox Drifter, and Algox are separate from the Inox. The Algox, I guess, are their bigger, nastier, winterized cousins. Oh, you can kind of see his teeth in there. Nifty. Okay, so the guards are done. Now the city guard doesn't do anything. Okay, the archers. So thankfully the elite is gone. Oh, and one of the regulars is gone, so we've only got number 4 left. An attack of 2, but 2 targets at range 4. Let me bring that up so you can see that little concentric circle means that many targets. Okay, so his focus is going to be the closest one. And so that's going to be the skeleton, and then as many other closest targets as he can find will be the bone shaper. So attacking those 2 in order. So attacking the skeleton first. A +1. Okay, this time I'm going to use, it's 4 damage, he's got 3 health. Let's make use of, where is it? The Warden's Robe. So 2 shield. So the skeleton did take damage, but they're down to 1 hit point, so they're still alive. Sorry, now I'm back up to speed. Attack of 2 against the Bone Shaper. That one's a +1. I guess it actually was a +1 last time. Okay. Sorry, fixing the thing. So the robes will just fully negate it. That way I don't have to worry about how much damage it would have done. The skeleton just took no damage. Okay, and 3 damage to our Bone Shaper, because that was a +1. Okay, archers are done. Now we've got the priest, who is actually attacking this time. An attack of 2 at range 3. They are already there, and are ready to attack the Deathwalker. And unfortunately we don't have any shield or fancy stuff for them. Oh, dang, I failed a battle goal. I forgot because I really wanted the Deathwalker. I really wanted that archer dead, and so I killed an elite enemy. So that did not happen. We're still trying to get the multiple status one, but the Bone Shaper has the easiest one. Just stay near a wall. Okay, so attack of 2 against our Deathwalker. Come on, miss. Hey, -2. Good. Good, good, good. So we don't have to lose more cards for our poor, poor Deathwalker. Okay, and that's going to end out this round. So I'm going to choose... Oh, hit round. Okay, everything's cleared, and I'm going to be back in a moment with the cards for the next round. Okay, we are back. Time to start the next round. So what do we have on the tracker? Okay, we're got the first couple. The archers are trying, well, the archer is trying to immobilize us. The guard is doing, a movement and attack and giving themselves advantage on their next turn. And we're doing a mass heal of 1, but only the people who are right next to him, and then blessing himself. That's not as bad of a heal as the other ones. Okay. So really the guards are the most dangerous thing left on the board, and that archer continues to be a pain. So first up is Disha, and of course, I mean the reinforcement of Disha. And now, what can she do? It's time for that pincer movement again. We're going to use a basic move from the bottom of the left card, and entrap that elite Algox guard, attack him with 5, and muddle him. So if we move around him, now we are on opposite sides with that heavily injured Deathwalker. Okay. And so an attack of 5, and we'll muddle him, assuming he survives. Very optimistic. -1. But that's still 4 damage to this guy. Major damage. He's starting to be bright red. And we go over to him in the app, and he is now muddled, which gives him disadvantage on his next attack until the end of his next turn. So if he was making multiple attacks, they would all have disadvantage. Excellent, excellent. Okay, that does it for our Banner Spear. Disha, great turn. Now Zane, Deathwalker. This time we still have some shadow left over from the previous round, so we can either Call of Doom and attack everyone next to one shadow, or Black Barrage. Probably gonna be the Black Barrage. But let's just see if is there multiple people next to a shadow? There actually is, but he's already muddled. I'd rather have a stronger attack against a single target. Maybe even killing this priest, I think, is our best bet here. So we'll consume that darkness, making an attack of 3, get an XP, against that Algox priest. If we can take him out, he will stop healing our enemies, which will make our lives a little bit easier. So attack of 3 against him. Let's get a little lucky. +1, we got a little lucky. Attack of 4, and the priest is no more. Hey, finally another... For the other card, we've got a move of 3 and make fresh shadow. And that move of 3, let's get to a loot. Really, we just want to get out of melee with that person, and we can't reach that loot, or I would have gone up there. Okay, so what did we get? +1 hides. Go down to their character sheet and mark that off. Okay, who is next? The archers are next, specifically the Algox archer. The Zane is done. So, range is up to 5, and it's an attack of 2. Now, the closest two are the skeleton and the bone shaper, so the target's going to be the skeleton. And we know they're going to survive, because we still have some negation ability. But attack of 2, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this. +1. So that's a case where I think we have to use the last charge of Wrath of the Turned Earth. We're going to get an experience out of it, but that card is now lost. So we do get an experience. We still have the Warden's Robes. Check. And our skeleton did not take the damage, but we do have to mark that, let's see, skeleton number 1, yeah, the one with the hit points, is immobilized for a round. That's fine, he wasn't going anywhere anyway. Now, what do we have up next? Let's see, that was the only archer. Okay, now it's time for our undead. So first up is our Wraith, who's going to attack the guard, because that's earlier in the initiative order between the closest people. So it's an attack of 1, using the Bone Shaper's attack modifier. Ah, well, the miss is, again, the attack of 1 has flushed out a bad card for us. Doing more than I expected for us. Okay, now the skeleton goes. So their attack of 2, they didn't need that immobilization. Attack of 2 against the guard, who, again, does not have any shield. That's at least one nice thing. You know, the Algox guards don't have shields. The city guards, that's like one of their main things, is they have shield and retaliate, but not usually as strong attacks. When they get up to higher levels, city guards are a pain. But attack of 2. Using player 2's deck. -1. It's still damage. We're getting them whittled down there. Now I'm more worried about running out of cards than getting defeated by the enemies. But he's still, you know, threatening a city guard there. Okay. Oh, right. That's why the guards are not doing anything, because now they've consolidated all of the types into a single deck. So, like, guard, they would both be doing the exact same thing. You'd be drawing from the single deck. That's sort of the game mechanic reason for why the city guards are choosing to do nothing every time. Yeah, it's weird that they're just sitting there and not fighting back, but maybe they're not actually city guards, they're the inhabitants, so they're not fighting, it's more like they're flailing in defense with their improvised tools. So they're more defending themselves. I like that better story-wise. Okay, so now skeleton finished, and Isone herself. We have 2 choices here. We can attack and poison someone and make some earth, or we can curse somebody and have our skeletons attack them and get some dark. I would like to get some poison in on this guy, so I'm going to make the attack myself against him. So it's 1, but you get +1 if your summon is next to it. So this will be an attack of 2, and poison will be applied afterwards. Just double check I read that right. Yep, and we make some earth. Okay, player 2. +0, so 2 damage, and then he is poisoned. Again, the poison happens after. This is guard number 1. Where's the guards? There we go. Regular guard dude, number 1. Now he's going to have that poison for at least until someone heals him, and the only healer is gone. So that was Bone Shaper. What was on the bottom of the other card? I think I was just planning to do a move 2, unless someone was actually next to a looted tile. I'll just do a basic move. Yeah, none of the summons are next to that, so we are going to do a basic move further in, like maybe we can protect ourselves against that guard. I really don't want to be that close to the elite, but the Banner Spear tends to have a number of very fast cards that can pull the attacks away. So that was the end of her turn, and yep, it took care of the immobilizing the skeleton for me. Okay, the city guards do not do anything, and the Algox guards, now they get to go. So movement of 2, an attack of 4 for the elite, 3 for the regular. Okay, so our elite is going to attack our Banner Spear, but he is muddled, so he has disadvantage. We draw 2 cards, and he gets the worse. Well, he got a curse. So that's one of those cards that we shuffled in. That's a bonus miss, and instead of getting returned to the discard pile afterwards, at the end of the round, it goes back into the Monster Curse deck. So that means we took no damage from him, but at the end of his turn, the muddle will go away. Now it's time for regular guard number 1. Let's see, he's going to target Disha as well, so draw our monster modifier. I got the crit. Let's see, yeah, there's no disadvantage on this one, so that's 6 damage. Even if we used the warding cloak, that skeleton would still be completely pulverized. So skeleton number 1 is poof, off of the board. And to the discard pile, not back to the main one, but that means we can rest and get them back. Let's see, okay, that was him. And now, attacking the guard. Oh, I almost forgot. Each of those guys gets strengthened after they go. Now we've got the last one, attacking the city guard, so attack of 3. -2. This is working out well for us. That guard is doing business. So the 3 gets reduced down to 1, but the shield blocks the remaining damage, and the retaliate comes straight back. City guard is beating that Algox guard. Okay, but that one also does get the strengthen. Strengthen gives you advantage until the end of your next turn. So next turn, those guards are going to be extra nasty. We can't count on getting the minuses then. Ooh, and is that the end of the round? Yep, that's going to mark the end of this round. I think our battle goal said specifically negative conditions. Yeah, we're not going to get lucky and kill him with the just the strengthen. Well, you know, maybe we can hit something else on this guy. The problem is, anything that's not poison, our person has to apply to him, and then if the other guy goes, it's going to be gone before our character can finish it. So really, we have to have our character go super late so that we go after their guard, but then in the following turn, we need to go super early and finish him off before he just automatically gets rid of that condition. So with that in mind, oh, and we're definitely going to have to do some resting again because our hands are empty, 1 card, 1 card. So we'll figure out our rests, and I'll tell you what happened as soon as we're back. I just realized something. I didn't want to move this person forward because of the whole wallflower thing. I really wanted them to stay there, and I just completely forgot about it. I used the basic move instead of anything on the other side of the other card. I just wanted to sit there and attack the guy. So yeah, I had the range to make the attack from back there. So stayed on stream, unfortunately, or I could have proven that I had meant to stay there, but that's the whole thing with the wallflower. If I was going to move them in, I would have moved them to there, and I didn't because I didn't want them to be in direct range with them. Sorry, everyone's been short resting, except for the Deathwalker, who will be long resting this round. But we are all set up. Let's see if I can put that plan I just mentioned into action. So what do we got up here? Bone Shapers first. The Archer is making another strong attack. Need to get the Bone Shaper out of the way of that. And then those guards are making a calculated strike, a move, then a strong attack. And then our other two characters are going. And first up is going to be our Bone Shaper and the Wraith. The Wraith is again attacking the Elite. So attack of 1 using player 2's deck, +1. So 2 damage to that Elite. That's fine with me. Now for the Bone Shaper themselves, do not move away from the wall. Going to summon a skeleton and then move 2 away, granting one of their summons an extra couple of movement. So the plan here is basically to, honestly, I'm just going to stay put and let the skeleton move forward for me. Suppose I could move forward, then put the skeleton down, and that would put me in a different spot. Like if I moved up to here, then summoned the skeleton, I'm putting the Archer in a bit of a bind, because how are they going to get away from us? They really can't. I'm going to force them to do a disadvantaged attack. I hope, anyway. So I move 2, yeah, not moving them, and you're back. We have summoned a skeleton again. Okay, so you are sticking around. We get an experience. That is done. Player 2 complete. It's Ison. Now the Archer has a move of 2 and an attack of 4. So it's the closest person. The tie means they're attacking the summon because the summon goes first. So they're focusing that. They want to get no disadvantage. They can't move that way. That's difficult terrain. So they have to move themselves back into the corner to not have disadvantage. So this is an attack of 4. Probably going to have to use that Warden armor for this. Ooh, +1. It's an attack of 5 against our skeleton. I was hoping to get lucky. Anything but a positive card, because now if we use that, it won't survive, so we're not forced to use it, but that means that skeleton just goes right back into the grave. At least it goes into the discard. And the Archer is done. City Guard doesn't do anything. So we still have these guys, and now they're going to be strong. Fortunately, they're going to be attacking our Banner Spear, and that guard's been having good luck so far. So first up is the Elite, who has an attack of 5 with advantage. This is going to hurt. Ooh, but even then, their best card is a +0, so we only take 5 damage. Yeah, ouch. Okay, we could still lose cards if we had to. And now it is the regular Algox card, attack of 4 at advantage. Ugh, with the +2, okay, we're going to have to lose a card to not get knocked out. I'll pick one of these, be right back. Card I'm going to lose will be Combined Effort here. Okay, losing Deflecting Maneuver. Great card, but we already lost the Javelin that gave it the wind to make it extra special. So we did not take the damage from the guard, because we used a card instead. Now we've got this friendo, attack of 4 at advantage at the City Guard. This one has more stakes. Okay, so it's up to a +1 makes it an attack of 5. Ouch. Reduced down to 3 because of the 2 shield, and he takes 2 damage from the Retaliate. Oof. I just need someone to get a long-range snipe in on that guy to just get him dead, so that our guard is not stricken from the field. But we have survived. And let's see. Nope, we still have Disha and Zane to go through. So let's bring our reinforcement in. Let him come and say hi. Okay, so for Disha, we're going to use just a basic move, and then try to get Resolved Courage with our one of our allies giving us a proper backing. That's why I left the Wraith there, because now we can basic move to here. Oh yeah, that regenerate is gone. So with that as the backing, we can attack those 3 spots, and that means we can hit both of these guards. Hopefully we'll kill at least one of them and immobilize the other for a quick death next turn. Let's hit the Elite first. Player 1. Oh, +1, okay. Well, that's 4 damage. The Elite is now toast. and immobilized. Attack of 3 against the other guard. He's poisoned, so it's an attack of 4 by base. Plus 0. Okay, I have killed them both. So he doesn't get immobilized, he's just gone. So there's 2 enemies left on the board for us to even potentially apply 2 statuses to, and yeah, he's almost dead, and the archer in the corner is not feeling too great. So that was Disha's turn. Excellent 2 hits, and yep, I almost forget again to give him the experience from that. And our friend Zane, just doing a long rest, so I'll resolve that, and then I'll choose cards and we'll come back with the start of the next round. And we're back and ready to start the next round. Let's see, oh, the archer is going very fast this time. We haven't seen that make a trap thing since the beginning of the game. So they're doing that. The guard has a throwing axe. So they're gonna try to do a ranged attack, but hopefully they'll be dead before they can do that. Trying to get him this turn for sure. But the archer is first. Let's see, so their focus is actually the bone shaper right in front of them, but a movement of 1 isn't going to get them out of the disadvantage, so they stay put. Attack 2 at range, well, yeah, the range doesn't matter, so it's attack 2 at disadvantage against the bone shaper. I was hoping to beat them speed-wise. The miss, excellent. It's the worst of the 2. And now create a 3 damage trap in an adjacent empty hex closest to an enemy. Well, they've prevented me from flanking them, like I kind of hoped to do. Well, good for them. And now they're done. Okay, Disha. Now that we mostly have the map under control, I'm going to try to get as much loot as I can. So a move and then a loot in radius 1. And we're also going to regroup, give someone a heal who really needs it. But only at range 2. So who can we reach with this? We can only do a... Oh, okay, so we could move up to there, and... I can heal myself, too. So move there, because we can only do a move of 1, unfortunately. And I actually was going to have the Wraith loot up there for the Bone Shaper. So we're going to get these 2 loot. And then just spend those 2 and regen on themselves. And what do we get? Ooh, a snow thistle. That's our first herb. There's tons of them in the deck. Okay, so what was that? Yeah, snow thistle and 2 metal. Oh joy, oh joy. Okay, the metal's easier, but how do I know which one's snow thistle? Okay, so it's the one that's sort of a line with 2 crosses on it, so it's that one. Well, at least they've got those symbols, makes it easier to figure out what exactly is going on. So that's it for our Banner Spear's turn. Now our Bone Shaper, and more specifically the Summon, goes first. I guess the Reinforcement would go as well, so move him out there. So, that is closer. Attack of 1 against the Archer. Come on. Oh, a +2. All of a sudden, we're not waiting for someone better to come along. We're not wasting any more misses or -1s. Good hit for the Wraith, finally. Now for the Bone Shaper themselves. Ooh, Malicious Conversion. Haha. This is a card I've sort of been saving. It's a lost card that gives you both Earth and Dark. It's probably their nastiest single attack. Attack of 4. If this kills the target, immediately play a card from your discard pile to perform a summon, and you don't take the damage from it. So basically I convert them immediately into a new skeleton. So an attack of 4. Ooh, +0. We got them. Oof. And now I can immediately take a card from my discard and summon them, and I don't take that 2 damage. So I guess I'll just put him there, and he's back. Suppose I could put him in that space. And now for the second half of the action, grant one of your summons loot 1, and you get all of the looted tokens and tiles. So I can either grab that loot or that loot. Might as well grab the one in the corner. So I'll just put it under, and that's going to end their turn. So what did the Bone Shaper get? Ooh, 2 coins, which is 4 gold. Yay, gold! Okay, now it is Zane's turn. What's Zane's card? Ah, yes, we've got to move 3, and then Black Barrage. But thankfully, because the Bone Shaper made Darkness, we can use that to pump up the damage and range on Black Barrage. So we're first going to move 3, and then make a nice attack, and probably finish off this guard. So move up to 3, always loot if I can. And this is well within range 5, so an attack of 3. This may be it. Confirm. Ah, and 1 experience. And get him? Yeah, anything but a miss, we got him. Because he was down to his last health. Alright. So, poof. There are no enemies left on this map. And we're actually about to end the round, and that'll get us to the end condition. So let's have him do his loot. And he got a metal. Looks like there's a heavy predisposition towards metal in this in this particular map. So, metal. Yeah, it does say in the description... Oh, interesting. Okay, so there's specifically 2 snow thistle. So you can't get every herb on every map. So this explains why we've been seeing so many of the material resources and not so many of the flowers. Ah, neat. And that is information you would know at the start, because you'd have to prep that out. Okay, Zane is done. The guards don't go. End round. We win! We have successfully completed scenario number 1. Let's see, I think that's just the cleanup for the map. So let's go to scenario 9.1, or page 9.1. Oof, big block of text. Okay. You lower your weapon and breathe as the remaining Algox retreat, scurrying from Frosthaven like giant white mice. They'll be back, you're certain of it, but for now you can rest. You wipe the soot from your face and take stock. Frosthaven is almost exactly what you imagined. A knot of gray stone and timber surrounded by sharpened palisade walls. A place where mere survival is an everyday concern, and where only the desperate could feel at home. Thankfully, though, the townsfolk are tough. They're already on their feet, dousing fires and picking through rubble. In fact, one of those townspeople is marching right for you, a sharp-featured human woman with a fighter's muscular build, close-cropped hair and dark skin, approaches and offers a gauntleted hand in greeting. "The sea be praised," she says, crushing your fingers with enthusiasm. "We wouldn't have held out much longer without you." You nod and ask what happened. "Oh, just life up north is all. I'm Satha, mayor of this fort, now that my predecessor and his lieutenant have fallen. As for the Algox, they've been at us all winter. Took them months to break through, but they finally did. Killed a dozen or so of my people, and would have done worse if you hadn't shown up." You explain who you are, that you've been sent from White Oak. At the mention of the capital, her face scrunches up in displeasure. "It's about time they sent someone to help fix this mess they made," she says, then tries to lighten her mood. "I don't mean to be ungrateful. I am overjoyed to still be among the living, but a lot more people would be alive if your employers, the Merchant Guild, never stuck their noses in our business. I've spent my whole life here in what was once a fishing village, living and letting live with the Algox, until last summer, that is, when the Merchants Guild sent some garrisons and bureaucratic types up here to see how Frosthaven could be of more use to the Empire. One of their expeditions proceeded to muck about in an Algox burial site, and the next thing we know, righteously angry Algox are attacking us. The ink stains immediately hightailed it out of here, leaving just a handful of soldiers behind to keep us safe." Satha clenches her gauntlet tighter and tighter as she tells the story, but now releases her grip. "I've had to learn a lot of things in the last year. The hard truth is that the Algox refuse to be reasoned with. And the only way to stay alive and keep this place I call home is to win the fight, regardless of who started it." Her face softens and she clasps your shoulder hard. "There's not many of you, but I'll take what I can get, especially now that our garrison's been thinned. And as it happens, I have an idea." He turns and gestures to the town's smoldering walls. "We took a beating in that fight, so if we're going to survive much longer, we'll have to do more than just sit around and wait for the next attack." She sizes you up carefully. "I've already sent a scout to track the Algox back home to the mountains. Drop your gear at any longhouse that's still standing and rest up. As soon as you're ready, I want you to get over there and find a way to slow these attacks." The bunks in the remaining longhouses are all occupied by the injured, but you find a dry stretch of floor to lay your heads on your packs. You doubt you can sleep after the horror that greeted you in this little outpost, but before you know it, a young Valrath man is nudging you awake. Satha's scout has returned with his report. He tracked the attackers to the foothills of the Copperneck Mountains, where they entered a cave at the base of Snowscorn Mountain. Interestingly, a smaller band split from the main group before they reached the cave and hiked around to the mountain's deadly eastern face. The scout didn't see where they went, but he suspects a secret entrance to the Algox stronghold. One last thing, the Valroth says as you wipe the final dregs of sleep from your eyes. Another group is moving towards Snowscorn. They were Algox, no doubt, but they're dressed differently than the ones who attacked us. They carried long sticks and had some wild animals with them. I don't know if they're going to attack the mountain or reinforce it, but either way, you'd better get there quick. Okay, Snowscorn is number 3. Okay, our rewards. Gain 2 plus X morale, where X is the number of city guards still on the map. So the number of city guards that we saved did help us. So we gain 6 morale, and new scenarios we've unlocked 2 and 3, and you will now perform an outpost phase. Read the campaign rules on page 50 of the rulebook. Okay, so let's go unlock scenarios. Nope, no, not that one. I'll just get up there myself. Scenarios 2 and 3 are both unlocked, and looks like they both lead to scenario 4. So this seems like a introductory. Oh, interesting. So whether we go to 3 or 4, it's a linked mission, which is what that means. So you can go to scenario 4 without performing any road events. Okay. So, interesting, block the scenario. So it looks like if we do one of them, the other one will no longer be available to us. So this is actually a tough choice on the 2 of them. Let's see, so it looks like that was a scouting party based on just Algox scouting and Algox offensive. So yeah, it's not clear which one would be tougher, although I suppose down over here there's actually a scenario picker, and looks like the offensive one is more complex. Now, I happen to like complexity. But okay, that's interesting, and then the scouting one is less complex. I imagine that just has more enemies in it or something like that. Of course, the personal quest that we've unlocked, still not going to do that until the town isn't on as much fire. So yeah, we're going to get plus 6 morale, but now it's time to start reading from page 50 of the rulebook, the outpost phase, because this is the first one of these I'll have ever done either, because there were no outpost phases in Gloomhaven. So this one I'm actually going to read through a lot of. So let's see, let's double check. Campaign rules starting on page 50. Okay, so this is explaining like how the building decks work and scenario flowchart. Map board, yep, there's all these stickers. There's the scenario flowchart. We know how those bits work. Okay, the building deck contains a card for every interactable building that currently exists in Frosthaven. Right, so let's go look over at the buildings. Yeah, so Frosthaven actually starts with a few buildings just from the beginning. Right, that's the inactive buildings, so not those. But we do have the level 1 barracks, which allows us to train soldiers, which will help us fight off. Let's see. I'll have to learn what the exclamation point means. We also have an alchemist who lets us brew the basic potions with the herbs, and a craftsman who can let us craft items. We can't buy them. And there's a workshop, which looks like allows us to upgrade the town. Those are those like scenarios that require certain things. Like one of them was a boat, one of them looked like a sled and climbing gear. I was right about that. So there are certain scenarios that it looks like you're going to have to unlock ways to get there before you can use them. So the workshop makes sense for that. Anything else? Nope, these are places that you could build, it looks like. So now let's look a little bit closer at the town proper. So yep, there's the craftsman, the alchemist, workshops. So yeah, those ones that already exist. Oh, and the barracks, of course. These ones that have like the resource costs, those are ones that we can build. So for example, the logging camp, the town must be at least prosperity 1. Not an issue for the logging camp, like that wall, you'd have to be at prosperity 6 to build. And then you would need 2 logs, 3 metal, 2 hide, and 10 gold collectively to build it. And it looks like we could do that one. But just an example, and there are stickers all over the town where we're going to be building up stuff over the course of the campaign, so But yeah, at the beginning, we only have those. Oh, hey, look. A town in flames. That's when we got here and fought off the Algox. That's nice. I didn't see that sticker before, like where it had shown up. Cool. And oh, we can probably see where 2 and 3 are as well. Ah, yep, the offensive and the scouting back around to the east, or yeah, the eastern side of the mountain. So that's actually very close to Frosthaven proper. So I guess that's like the frontal assault, and then that is the, I suppose, the sneaky route. Okay, so I'm glad I'm reading through this on the building deck page. One of the things it says is the starting deck of building cards are the 4 I just mentioned, but notably, at the start of the campaign, apply any one-time effects indicated on the cards. That's what those little exclamation point things were on the cards down here. So I know the barracks had one. So like +4 soldiers. We do get to start with 4 soldiers on the barracks in the town. So on the campaign tracker, we do start with a full complement of 4 soldiers. And you're supposed to be like, marking these off with pencils and erasing them as you expend soldiers. So let's take a look at each one of the buildings and see if they have one. Okay, so the crafting, add items 1 through 10 to the item supply. So I think those are things that you are able to craft. Nothing for that card, and let's see, that's the wrench is a repair cost if it gets damaged during an attack. Where's all the, here's all the items. So items 1 through 10, yep, unavailable craftable. Now they are craftable. Ooh, that's another cool thing. Okay, well now we're out of the scenario proper, so let me end the scenario so that it's going to clean up everything in there. I was hoping it was going to clean those bits up for us, but that's not too bad. Really, these are all of our character things, so I was hoping it was going to pull them all back to our mats for us. I'll clean this up myself and I'll be back. I was so excited I forgot to resolve our battle goals. Right. So we never did manage to kill an enemy that had 2 or more negative conditions, so that one was failed. And then, the one we failed really early on, we did kill that one elite archer, so we failed that one. But, granted, I did have to roll it back, but I swear I had meant to leave him in the stupid doorway. Wallflower, and all of your turns next to a wall, our Bone Shaper gets the 2 check marks. So he got 2, no one else got any. So now, with the craftable items, what these buttons do is it lays them out on the mat. So these are items that we can craft at the craftsman. So they're not particularly great cards, but like for example, a one-handed item that prevents a condition. Yeah, it looks like they're all very crude items. So these are like level 0. Gloomhaven didn't even have items this bad that you could purchase. But the point is that this is an outpost that was just completely walloped. Oh, and it also shows the materials you would need in order to craft these things, and your character specifically has to have them. So crude bow, get an extra range on an attack. Crude spear, one of your single target melee can target someone 2 hexes away. That's pretty good, but it does take both hands. So like if we gave that to the banner spear, yeah, it's a spear, but we'd have to get rid of their shield because that's a one-handed thing. Ooh, a scepter. Neat. Giving a nearby ally a shield and attack, that's a good thing. Like you can give that to, the Bone Shaper, and they can protect either skeletons or whoever. Flexible slippers. End of turn looting. Oh man, that's great. Loot an adjacent hex instead of the hex you occupy. That's one of the biggest frustrations in like old Gloomhaven, was that you have to go hex to hex to hex, and it took forever to loot everything at like the end of a map. You need to get an extra movement point on your move. That's good. Crude hide armor. That's nice. Give them disadvantage. Notably, on the next 2 attacks targeting you, this one's actually better than the leather armor, but you'll note it has that little -1 thing. So if we compare it to the leather armor, so they gain disadvantage on the attack before drawing an attack modifier, whereas the one up on the map we were just looking at, it's just like flat out they get disadvantage. Like there's no choice about whether you want to use it or not. And these -1s, those are extra attack modifier cards that get shuffled into your modifier deck, so they sort of give you an advantage because they're heavy and cumbersome. Some characters can gain perks that allow them to ignore the -1 cards, people who are meant to have like heavier armor. And the last couple, Traveling Cloth. Oh, neat. So you just have one extra hit point for the mission. Crude helmets. Ah, okay, so it prevents critical attacks against you, although there's still a +1, so it's not great. Ooh, gain advantage on one attack during your attack ability. That's really good, and I don't think we'll have much other things to put in our head slots, so those are cool. And then to put those back, we just click that again, and there they are. Oh, neat. You can also sort them, search for a specific character. Back to the outpost phase things. So we're looking at the building deck. So we've added those to the item supply. None of the other two had something, so we've done all of those things. It's telling us all about what's on a building card. I don't think we have to worry about the other things for now. Okay, campaign sheet. It's telling us all about the campaign calendar, and I went over this in the first episode, so I won't go too deeply into this. But I'm hoping it will tell us what the starting values are for some of these things. So here's one of the things on this sheet. There's somewhere on here is something called inspiration. There it is. So this marks the party's current inspiration. When the party receives inspiration, adjust this value. When you complete a scenario, you gain inspiration equal to 4 minus the number of characters. So every time we complete a scenario, we're going to gain 1 inspiration. This is sort of a catch-up mechanic because we don't have 4 characters who are all looting to get resources. And you can spend inspiration in place of equal numbers of material resources when paying for buildings. So this will help you, it's like a wild card to build buildings. Where's the morale section? So we do start with all 4 soldiers. Morale track. Okay, when the party receives morale, adjust the track accordingly. It has a minimum value of 0 and a maximum value of 20. I guess this means we just started with 0 morale and got 2 plus that number. I mean, that would suck if you didn't save any of the guards, you'd start with -10 morale. But that also kind of matches with the town in flames. I want to look for make sure that the morale actually does start at 0, and then we added 6 as our so that's our starting value. Okay, looked it up, and yeah, the morale is supposed to start very low. So it is 2 plus the number of guards, so you won't start any lower than 2. But thankfully, we get to start at number 6. So that's where our morale is currently at, because we saved all of the guards. Item supplies. Okay, outpost phase. This is the actual next part. So everything prior to this was sort of explaining town mechanics, but yeah, important things where we needed to know what to set the inspiration and the morale to. Okay, outpost phase. After each scenario phase, the party must return to Frosthaven and perform an outpost phase, unless two situations. If the scenario was lost, you may immediately replay it. If the scenario has a linked scenario, then you can proceed directly to that scenario without going back to Frosthaven. So basically, whenever you arrive at the town, you do an outpost phase thing. Okay, the outpost phase involves spending time in Frosthaven to resolve events, acquire new items and abilities, and interact with buildings. There are 5 distinct steps. Passage of time, outpost event, building operations, downtime, and construction. So passage of time. Oh, good. I need practice at this too. This is all new to me. So passage of time. So mark the next unmarked box on the calendar to signify 1 week has passed. I'll just put an X in there like that. Yep, we have not been instructed to add section numbers like those things to any future weeks. So we're okay with that. Okay, whenever a set of 10 have been checked, so after we've checked the end of summer, then you start using the winter decks for everything. Okay, good. We are now going to be in the 2nd week of summer. That was week 1 was just getting there and saving the town. Okay, next we do an outpost event. Outpost events. So let's see the active ones. I'm pretty sure they should be shuffled. Let's just make sure. Check and made sure. And yes, you do shuffle the first 20 of them. And this is sort of the side you should read because the other side has the outcomes. So you're supposed to shuffle both of the starting decks of the first 20 cards, and then the other ones you'll sort of be picking out one at a time based on the number as you go. Yep, draw the top card of the active event deck. Oh, that's cute. Well, I imagine if you had the foreteller narration in there. So, our first outpost event. A group of soldiers bearing White Oak's insignia ride into Frosthaven on horseback. Where were they? They drag a half-dozen sorry-looking men connected by a long chain. One of the soldiers drops from his horse, handing the reins to a waiting town guardsman. Where's Mayor Grimlow? Satha greets the soldier. Dead. Algox fist, or maybe it was the spear holes. Either way, I'm in charge now. The soldier grunts, sizing up the new mayor. New contingent of prisoners. Thieves, grifters mostly. Satha folds her arms. We're not a prison. The people here stay by choice, and we don't have room for layabouts. Soldier brushes her off. Put them to work. Put them to death for all I care. They're delivered. Find a place for them. Unless you'd like me to execute them. The soldier draws his sword and puts it to the throat of the nearest prisoner. We have 3 options for once. I've never seen an option C before. Ha ha ha. Okay. So allow them to execute? No. Encourage Satha to let them work for their keep and go free? Option C. Offer to house them in your longhouse. I mean, these are... What is it? Who does he say they are? Thieves, grifters mostly. So they're going to steal our stuff. Like execution, what's that going to do? I'm sure that would reduce morale. But I'm not sure how much they're going to hurt us if we take them. It is the kind of thing where at least a dozen people just died. So I'm inclined with B, the middle of the road route. But yeah, that's... Let's see. Oh, before they were always like state-based thing, but I guess we get to see all of the things. Okay, well, that's not going to matter to us, because we already have the maximum number of soldiers we can have. You intercede and ask Satha to let the prisoners earn their keep like everyone else. She agrees to put them to work as town guard for the next season to pay off their sentence and pick up some honest skills. They look tremendously grateful for your intervention. The soldiers are back on the road before night sets in. So we'd gained 2 soldiers, but we're currently at the max because we haven't lost any yet, and we have to have a level 2 barracks. I guess I'll take a look and see what happens if you would gain soldiers and you don't have any. I assume just no effect. It's like the overflow is lost. We've gained 2 soldiers, and they, I guess story-wise, we'll just say they slunk off in the night. Okay, and after we finish resolving the card, it is removed from the game. So, poof. We'll never see that particular card again. Now, next up is something to do with the buildings. Okay, Phase 3 is building operations, so essentially interacting with the buildings. After the event step, resolve the effects of all buildings. Go through the building deck in sequential order, 1 card at a time. So we'll navigate over to the buildings. Sequential order, I imagine that means lowest to highest, and we'll just go through like that. So we resolve it. Let's see, resolve any normal or wrecked effect, which appears at the top of its card next to the little sun icon. So these are not wrecked, but if you flip it over, that's what the wrecked thing would be. So if our craftsmen were wrecked at the start of the outpost, or this particular phase, like if our outpost phase event was an attack or something, then we would have had to lose a hide because the craftsman is completely broken right now. We wouldn't have had a chance to fix it yet. So we don't have the wrecked effect. So when the party gains or loses gold or resources due to these effects, they can be added to or taken from the collective supply or the character's personal supplies. I imagine, for example, that if we built the building for the mining camp, maybe that would give us metal after each scenario phase. I can imagine like having an event thing be like, gain 1 metal. However, some buildings have optional effects, which benefits that can only be gained if the associated cost is paid fully. Oh, okay, so where it says no effect up here, I think that's what they're talking about in terms of building operations. The moon means the downtime step, which is the next phase. So when they say go through and do that top thing, they're really just talking about the top of the cards. That's the building operations. And then the barracks, capacity for effect, advantage, and -5. Our soldiers are already at max. We've got all 4 soldiers, but we could, at this point in time, spend 3 gold and any 1 material to get another soldier. So after each scenario, you can only get 1 more soldier. Phase 4 is downtime, and this is when you get to basically craft items, visit the shops, all of that fun stuff. So characters may perform downtime activities in any order they would like. Many of these activities require them to interact with a specific building, which they cannot do if the building is wrecked. So the things you can do at this point in time is you can level up, you can retire a character, create characters. So basically all of the things you'd typically imagine as between missions, that's the downtime phase. But you can also craft items, brew potions, and sell items. And there are 2 sticker spots on this page for other things you can do that they don't even want to tell you at the start of the game. There's a lot of sticker spots in this section. But let's take a look at crafting items, because our people have a bunch of stuff. So page 65. Crafting items. Non-potion items can be crafted by interacting with the craftsman. So those are all the items we just looked over. Characters craft an item by spending the required resources or items. They have to be taken from their personal supplies, not the collective supply. Except for herb resources. Herbs, I guess, are just everyone shares them freely. So at the start of the campaign, only items 1 to 10, the ones we looked at, are available. As the craftsman gets upgraded and as the party discovers new blueprints, more potential items will be added to the craftable supply. So brew potions, we only have a total of 1 herb right now, so I don't think we can brew anything. But you interact with the alchemist building. Brew a potion by spending any 2 herb resources taken from the either supply. And then look at the alchemy chart, find the intersection, and then that's what you made. And yeah, so that would toggle the visibility on each one of those intersection points. Looks like you can mix something with itself. When a character gains another copy of an item they already own, they must sell it immediately. You get gold equal to half its gold cost, rounded down. When you sell a craftable item, they gain 2 gold for each resource or item required to craft it. So I suppose if you had a ton of item, or like materials, you could like make items and then immediately sell them. And it's really a pittance in gold. 2 gold for each resource that went into it. I'm going to look and resolve my downtime and figure out what I want to build. I need to look at like the totals for all the resources I've got. So that's going to be the last thing we do in this episode. So in our downtime phase, with one of the Banner Spear's metal, we crafted a spyglass. So you gain advantage on 1 attack. Bone Shaper did not buy anything, but the Deathwalker had hide, or else we would have given one of these to the Banner Spear as well, but spent a hide on some flexible slippers. So once per long rest, this does still have to be expended, unfortunately, you can loot an adjacent hex instead of the hex you're in. This person does a lot of teleporting, going to a specific shadow spot or something like that. So really, a little bit less flexibility in terms of where they end their turns than some of the others. So I wanted them to be flexible, and also gave them a spyglass. Oftentimes, this person has like that single attack that's like all of your shadows go into one single attack. And I know in the last mission, there was that attack of 7 and it completely whiffed. There was a time this mission that happened too. So those are the craftable upgrades we got. And that's going to be it for our crafting. Phase 5, construction. So after you've done all your downtime stuff, you can build new buildings. After the downtime, you may build, upgrade, and rebuild buildings. You may build or upgrade 1 building by default, but you may lose 2 morale to build or upgrade a 2nd building. Now that is tempting. If it was just 1, then I might be tempted because we're at 6. So we don't have a defense penalty right now, but if we spent 2 to build a 2nd building, we would have a penalty. Actually, no, that's part of this outpost phase. We're going to finish that now. So yeah, building or upgrading. There's always a prosperity requirement. You have to meet that, and you also have to spend Frosthaven resources to make that happen. Yeah, and whenever you build something, you immediately do that exclamation point. That's like when it gets first built or first upgraded, that happens. So you would do that. Yep. When you build a new building, you put its level 0 sticker onto the board. And and whenever you upgrade something, you would just, I guess, overwrite the sticker, put a new sticker on top of the old one, and that's going to improve that. Yep, upgrade cost shown on the normal side of the current building card with resources from Frosthaven, and rebuild. So if a building gets completely wrecked in an attack, not just damaged, but wrecked, then you have to pay the rebuild cost, which is shown on the rect side of the card. So that, in this example, you need a lumber and a metal to rebuild the craftsman. And that would count as one of your buildings for that particular phase, or your build action. You'd have to spend 2 morale to get another one. So wrecking sucks. Yep, and then that lets you put it back to its normal side. Taking a look at the 3 buildings that we can build at the very start of the game, I think I'm very, very on the right track, because its mining camp probably gives you metal, hunting lodge probably gives you hide, and then the logging camp probably gives you lumber at the start of each phase. That makes perfect sense. Definitely going to be getting one of them. I don't think I have enough collective resources to get 2 of them. And now for building, we're going to build the logging camp. So we're going to have our people donate other resources, and I've already calculated out. Basically, all of our metal and remaining hide go into that, and we'll have 3 lumber left over in our personal supplies. Okay, so after that, I've left each character having 1 lumber to themselves, and now let's go to, build or upgrade. Logging camp. Oh, okay, so it's not that you collectively get it, but you can spend 2 gold to get a lumber. And at least this is a level 1. Oh, and we've also given the town their first prosperity. So we can't upgrade it again until we reach prosperity level 3, and it's going to take some more stuff in there. But let's look for it on the board. Logging camp, level 1. Aha. Excellent. And our first check on the way to level 2. It's only 6 for prosperity level 2, but it gets long waits when you get into those upper levels. During the building phase, I'm not going to spend 2 morale to try to build a second building. I just don't have enough lumber for it, so I chose to spend the other things on their crafting items. So I think this was great fun. Haha. Yeah, that's going to do it for all the phases. So the next thing we'll be doing is going back into scenario mode, where we'll choose one of those 2 places to go, either the scouting or the offensive battle. And we'll have a road event, a summer road event on our way to the next mission, and then we'll do the mission. So we'll jump right into that next time. We've done all the Outpost stuff. If there's at least less fumbling around, hopefully with like all the pausing and stuff, this turned out nicely. That it looks okay, and that all the scrolling around doesn't give us a headache or something. We've played Frosthaven for the second time, first time entirely virtually. Think it looks nice in the editing, and see how the presentation worked, and I can then compare it to the first episode. Maybe we'll stick with this. We'll see. It's definitely a lot easier for me on the setup perspective. So for that reason alone, I'm kind of inclined to keep doing it in tabletop, but we'll see. And I guess let me know in the comments if you thought this looked better, if it looked better presentation-wise than like the overhead camera I had. Readability, able to follow along a little bit more easily. So I'll see you on the next episode of Wheel of Games. Bye-bye.